Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 79, Pew Pew Review in the New Forums. I am your host, Ed Horn, and alongside me tonight, Mr. Sean Dorsey. Sean, how's it going, my friend?
Good, Ed. How you doing?
Good. And of course, our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Sheriff. Chris, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
Has the snow melted finally in Canada? Just out of
Uh, it,
curiosity.
it's been really, really warm. It's too hot now. When's winter coming back?
All right, so on tonight's show, we're going to be covering over, of course, we're going to finish up the finals for the Pew Pew review. That's going to be kind of the main topic, but some interesting moving and shaking has been going around in the X-Wing world, and we're going to cover that with the new Atomic Mass forums and some interesting news out of that. But of course, as always, we're going to start with our flight deck. Sean, I'm going to start with you. What have you been doing lately, my friend?
Haven't done a whole lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff going on right now um, in my personal life. I'm getting solar panels installed. They're supposed to be done this week, but they got moved to next week, and um,
Oh,
so that's taken up a lot of my outside time. We did do some Inquisitor Martyr
we
last
did.
Saturday. Um, excuse me, that was live on the Dice Hate channel and Ed's old guy gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm a little bit behind on the editing on that. I've not had a lot of motivation for some reason, so I've got like 2 sessions I need to like edit. I'm gonna get it done this weekend. I've got some stuff I need to get. I'm kind of putting stuff in a can because I've got a vacation coming up, and I might just put that all out for all that time frame while I'm gone. I think that might work.
and then go
Um,
ahead, Chris.
I still haven't edited the In Focus 40k talk from last episode.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Our 30-minute, 3-hour in focus, is that what it was?
yeah,
It went
About
for a
3 hours.
while. I don't know if it went for
Yeah,
3, but it went for a bit.
it went longer than the show.
it did. Yeah,
It
The
it
did,
show
did.
budgie.
was the show was like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then we went for 3 hours to the point when I was about to pass out. So,
Yep.
um,
Yep. It was a good one. That's a
yeah,
classic lack of focus show. 4.5 hours, like base.
exactly. And then I've been putting 40K well, not en masse, but I've been putting 40K models together. I finished my fifth intercessor Monday night when we were playing D&D. So, and then of course D&D. But other than that, I haven't really been doing a lot of gaming stuff. Um, Trying to just get the solar stuff going and all that, and because there's a lot of yard work and stuff because I'm doing a ground mount out on my roof and all that, and so there's been a lot of prep for that. And with my physical condition, it takes me forever to do anything. So that took a lot of days over the last couple weeks, actually, where I still got more to do before next Tuesday when they come and do it. So that's kind of my quick and easy flight deck. I had a really good time playing Inquisitor Martyr, though. That was a great night of play. That's
It's such a great game.
it
It's
is.
everything I want. Again, when you see it on, if you saw it on Twitch, or if you see it on whenever I do the replay on my channel, it's everything I wanted that game to be. It
Hmm.
is mindless, click, destroy, kill, accomplish mission, move on to the next one, and gear up, get more better stuff, keep going on. It's exactly what I want. It's Diablo in the Warhammer 40k universe. I love it.
Yeah,
It's absolutely what I wanted it to be.
the point and click games are fun. I like the point and click style where right or left mouse button depend. It's most of my shooting. And the last, I think every mission that we did Saturday, I think I used 2 total inoculators the whole mission.
Yeah, yeah, I think
I
I
uh,
agree.
I enjoyed playing with a sniper rifle. I felt like I had a little bit more micro to do. Micro, like
Right,
trying to kite properly and make sure
right.
I'm timing my shots that are going to slow them and stuff.
And
So
that's
that was
that's the cool
interesting.
thing. That's the cool side of being ranged is that kiting, or because I don't have both of my setups are range setups, and I only literally use one. But it's fun to play because it's more strategic for me than just a a board smash type character where you're just in their faces all the time, and then running and hiding to try to get everything back, get your health and everything back up. But for me, it's like if I get separated from you guys and I have 5 or 6 things, it's a strategy game at that point. How in the hell do I survive, especially when there's range people? Because my character is not that great of a character when it comes to getting shot at. So
I
I
was
do a
thinking
lot of
about that.
damage.
I was thinking about the other day. You might want to consider, since you're not really using your second setup, maybe doing like a heavy flamer. Because what'll happen is your heavy bolter can be, hey, you're at range, you're far enough, I'm just gonna throw lead into you.
Mhm.
And when they get close, you can switch out to a heavy flamer and melt them whenever they come in. Because you've seen with
I'd
those
do that,
flamers,
or do like a melter gun or something, just for
that was the
point
other option.
point on heavy armor. But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is everything that I have found, even the stuff I'm replacing, all the other gadgety stuff that you put in that secondary build, I haven't gotten good enough stuff to like.
Oh, you only need your secondary build, literally keeps all your armor and everything the same. All it swaps out is what's in your hands. So it's only gun and
No. It's
It's
also
your hands and it's
there's a couple other
the
things too
signums that go with the gun.
yeah, which for me is I have better I haven't found good enough signums to do that. Plus, you guys know how I am. It's like I'm going to take the easiest way out as I possibly can. And Chris saw me do it in a game where he ended up dying, and I think he couldn't res when him and I were playing alone on some
That was
god
when we were bugged
awful.
out, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris, I think we were 5 levels ahead of me or 7 levels ahead of me, and you added other stuff in to make it even harder.
That was always fun.
We played a suicide death mission and got desynced so that I couldn't do something and Sean couldn't do something. Your inoculators were all free. Yeah, and then was I not picking stuff up or something? I can't remember.
I can't remember what you did have some type of liability, and then I could use inoculators for free. But in the games leading up to that one mission that we did, or the missions leading up to that one mission, there was one where Chris, I think you had died and you couldn't resurrect, or we would lose. So it was me literally kiting everything around the board, turning, shooting, running, inoculating. That's just how intense it was. To where being that range guy, that was the only way that we could win the mission, and we ended up winning it. We got lucky on that one, but it was pretty intense. And Chris is, there the whole time. Watch out to your left, watch out to your right, and it was awesome. It was extremely fun to play, but it's just one of those types of things where I like that ranged, really far away ranged, damage that I can do, because I'm not good enough at games to be able to shift to the right enemy at the right time if I'm up close, things like that, or taking too much damage. I'm not good with keyboards, so going from 3 or 4 to 0 to do my inoculator would pretty much.
I should rebind. I should rebind the inoculator.
Yeah, I changed mine to the tilde so that I could get to it. I agree with you. That's the same problem I have.
Yeah. But no, that's pretty much my whole flight deck there. It's been mostly
well, we had D&D on Monday too.
Yeah, D&D, but I'd rather hold off on that till it comes out. And
oh yeah. Yeah. I understand.
It was a fun night, and I'm gonna say the blender maneuver is cool, but it's not very fun. I didn't find a great amount of fun in that. I mean,
the only thing wrong with that, Sean, is that encounter should have been when you guys were at 5th level.
Yes.
That it was a much. I didn't worry about it. I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. This is what's in there, so you guys can fight it as is. And but yeah, if you pull that at height against level appropriate stuff, it will be effective, but you'll still. I think the problem was you didn't have to do anything else. So what Sean's talking about is casting Spirit Guardians as a cleric, and then low-level undead running into it who take double damage from a radiant, who've got a low intelligence score, so they don't know
not to do that.
Yeah, like they're being commanded by a demon to go and suicide in, so that's what they did.
It's always that paradigm thing with D&D though. Like you ever start off as a first level character and you always face off against orcs and kobolds. Like somehow conveniently around you, it's always the first, second, and third level monsters that are
You've
around
not
you.
seen a kobold or an orc.
I know. I mean, like any D&D campaign always kind of works out that same way, where the levels, the monsters always level up where you're at. I've never been a fan of that. Like there are like I've always been a fan of this is a no-win situation for your characters at this level. The right answer is to not go there, and I've killed characters for that.
Or the right answer is to run away.
Right, exactly. Where you
know?
encounter the main boss of that particular campaign early in the campaign, attacking him is a bad idea because you're going to lose. You should run away from that situation. So the convex of that, of course, is there's occasions where you come into these encounters that were meant for much, much lower characters, but you walk way through it because you're heroes.
Yeah.
So it does happen that way sometimes.
Yeah, and that's. I'm never a fan of being able to swing a weapon and mass kill. I'm just never a fan of that.
Well, like the solution is to like upscale the encounter, but sometimes like it doesn't work.
I would have done the same thing Chris did, where I would have made it a solvable problem where, you're higher level characters and then you're up against these weak ones. But I've seen it where weak monsters kill parties.
Like, there's a chance that someone died in that encounter if you didn't do it.
Because of strength. Well, it's because of the strength loss. And
yeah.
Who was it? Who got hit? Alan got hit.
Alan got hit, then Greg retroactively used his shield on it.
Right.
But
he would have lost 2 strength.
Sorry, Irina lost 2. He would have, Alan, on the roll against Alan, he would have lost 4.
Yeah. Alan would have lost 4. Irina would have lost. Irina did lose 2.
Yeah.
And against things like that, it's like, if you don't play it smart, you could actually die. Or if your rolls are shit, like Ed's were the whole night,
he still critted the purple worm in the end. It was fun.
Okay, he did. But I rolled 4 1s that night. 4 like I could have accepted 2s and 5s and 7s. Like, okay, but 4 1s.
Remember, you do roll more dice than other people.
I do, I know, but still, anyway, is what it is. I'm not about to.
I'm not. Again, I just peaked really badly there. You're allowed to feel how you feel, Ed. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay.
Exactly.
But
I validate your feelings.
But you're wrong. But that is the funny side of it to me, is that type of an encounter became easy because of a skill that I didn't even know I had. I didn't realize. I know what Spiritual Guardian was in 2nd edition. I've never dealt with it in 5th edition, and I'm sure they're probably similar, but in 5th edition, that's just ridiculous against low-level characters.
Yeah.
You get 10 minutes of mass kill.
The secret is, Sean, that you actually don't, because all I do is I hit you and then you have to start taking your concentration saves. It's a solvable problem on my end.
But not with the monsters that we were up against. Because only one of them made it.
There was one round where you rolled a 7. I needed you to roll a 7 for damage or less to be able to just walk into it. They had 16 health.
Yeah, and I rolled a 6 on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the key to the entire encounter was you put yourselves on a timer when you start the end fight, so you can do it all. But then if you might get no reward for doing it, and you guys were very close to just getting nothing from all of that fighting.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. That's where I realized it, and I went back up the mound or the hill, because I figured we probably don't want to lose the cleric to some stupid water thing,
The water slide of doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.
It's one of those things where I hadn't played in a couple weeks either, so that was. Well,
I feel like we've had some issues in the last couple of weeks with getting D&D, and like I think we had like missed 2 sessions.
We had the 2 sessions that we missed. First one from Chris, second one from you and I. And then
Mhm.
we came back for 2 sessions, but I missed those 2. And then this was the 3rd session that I made it back for. So,
Yeah, that sounds about right. I feel like we missed another one somewhere in there too. Like, I
well,
feel
we
like
It's
have.
fine.
I
there
mean,
was a
we
4-week
have.
span where we only played 1 time in 4 weeks. I feel like that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. But, that's what happens when you're adults.
Yeah,
It's the
adulting sucks.
difference. It's the difference when I was in my early 20s and in the military and I worked every other weekend off schedule. I would go to my friend's house and we'd play D&D literally for 3 days. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, those were the days.
yeah,
Those were the days, like, I remember being in high school, I'd go and get dropped off at we'd ride my friend George's, bus to his house. We'd start playing D&D on Friday night, and our parents would pick us up at, like, Friday afternoon. Nobody had slept. We'd eaten, like, 2 meals. Maybe someone decided to take a shower in their time frame.
right,
It was just
right.
D&D all weekend. Oh boy, were those the days.
Yeah, we would do that. We would do what we called mega sessions where we'd start at Friday at like 6 when my friend Jeff and his brother, whose house we would play at, I would go over there because I'd be off that Friday. So my friend Matt would drop me off over there. My roommate, he would drop me off over there. And then Dan would give me a ride home, who was the guy that worked till like 5, and then he would come and we would play all night. We'd play till like 2 in the morning, get done. Dan would drop me off at home. Then he'd come pick me up the next morning at like 10 in the morning, and we would start playing by 10:30, play till 2 in the morning, go back home, sleep, come back on Sunday, at like 11 in the morning, play till like 8 at night. That was the entire weekend was just
Yep,
D&D crushed in. And as an adult, you just
can't do
adult
that.
with responsibilities. It's for me, I can. I mean, it's all within my work schedule though, but you guys have kids and makes it more difficult and
Significant others that wanna see you in daylight hours, that kinda thing, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Whenever if Chad
it's
does make it on tonight, he may or may not make an appearance tonight. He could tell you of the times, like, whenever 3.0 and 3.5, Dungeons& and Dragons was getting big and we were playing the RPGA, and we were doing those sessions that were, like, 3 hours long. We'd go to these conventions, where you'd be like, so Friday night you're gonna do a session from 6 to 9, and then there's gonna be a session that runs from 9 to midnight. But
yeah.
then these crazy people would be like, all right, so we're gonna start a session at 2 in the morning and run until 5. People can take like 2 hours of sleep and get up for the next session that we're gonna run until 10 in the morning. And then, oh, by the way, the convention starts at 11. And like legitimately, like they'd be doing that. Like I think Chad had gone through sessions where he didn't sleep entire weekends. Now, of course, I'm DMing those sessions, which is cool because you get your ticket paid for, you get your 2 meals and all that fun stuff and free entry into the vendor room. But yeah, you're just DMing all weekend long.
Just think if we had technology like this back
Oh
then,
god, that would have been so nice.
none of us ever would have gotten married. None of it ever would have happened, because we'd just be doing this all the time.
Sorry, I had an interruption from my child. I apologize for that. And a
All
very
good.
important questions. Apparently, my wife is ordering from Domino's at 10 o'clock at night. So it's
Sweet.
very important. Very important. Do you want anything? And of course, I'm on a diet. I'm exercising. So I'm like, all right, what can I eat that's not
Nothing.
super
A
nothing?
salad.
Nothing.
They have salads. They have salads.
There's
But
I
what's the
so
point, Sean? Like,
Exactly.
10 o'clock
I
at night,
mean,
what's the point in ordering this out? You better off just not having anything.
Yep,
well, hey,
agreed.
my dinner tonight, I had a steak, and then for the side, I had cheese and crackers with onions on the cheese and cracker,
Ooh.
and what else was it? I can't remember. Some type of vegetable that I put on top of it too.
So let's see.
So
My with this new diet. So basically, how my diet works is right now I do a smoothie for breakfast in the morning, which consists of like protein powder, some flaxseed, some ice cubes, some fruit, and some fruit. Okay, and I toss in some spinach in there for some of the greens. That's breakfast. I drink that on the way into work. Lunch every day of the week is the same thing. It's a big salad. It's got spinach and kale, and it's got parsnips and carrots and onions and some radishes, a little bit of chicken in there, some strawberries and blueberries. That's lunch. I have a snack around 3 that's a banana and maybe an apple, depending on how hungry I am. And then tonight for dinner, she made whole wheat pancakes. We had pancakes for breakfast for dinner. So that having been said, I've been on this program for 4 weeks. I've lost like 4 inches from the midsection area. I'm exercising 5 days a week. I'm in the gym, our COVID gym, right here in my fantastic garage, 5 days a week. I'm on the bike the 2 days that I'm not in the gym. I'm still pissed off because I've lost a whopping 4 pounds in 4 weeks. Now, have I lost inches? Yes. Do my clothes fit differently? Do I feel better? Absolutely, 100%. But there's that some validation that you want to have after cramming down
So
salads every day of the week for
so
like
so ultimately, just go to intermittent fasting. Do the 8 and 16. Only eat within an 8-hour window, and you can pretty much eat anything you want within that window. And don't eat for the next 16 hours, and do it every day. Like I don't eat breakfast. I eat lunch, so I go from 11:30 to 7:30. Some days I go later, like tonight. I'm going later because I ate my first meal at almost 2 o'clock. So from 2 to 10 now is my window, and then I won't eat for 14 to 16 hours, and then I'll pick back up my 11:30 to 7:30. And I've lost 19 pounds and haven't gained any of it back. And in my situation, that's gigantic because that's the only way that I can lose weight. Dieting, what I've learned is that dieting, you're not going to lose weight dieting. You're never going to lose true weight dieting.
and that's I'm combining
You
it with
have
diet
to,
and exercise.
but the
It
exercise
ultimately
still,
it's lifestyle change. It's the
right.
actual
Yep.
thing.
And,
Doing
and it's
something to lose weight doesn't work. You've just got to
right,
change your lifestyle. Which is why
right.
I'm not losing weight, and
Yeah.
I I I don't
Mike,
want to change my lifestyle. I just
look
want to
how
be thin.
baggy this shirt looks on me.
Yeah,
Like I'm definitely this. I can feel things changing.
right.
I definitely look different, especially in the midsection region. So like I can see the results that are happening. But I gotta tell you, like you get down to your fourth, you're like today's Thursday that we record on Thursdays. I don't think I'm peeking too far behind the curtain on this one. And I've had my 4th salad for lunch. I get to the halfway through, I'm like, I'm so done. Like it's not that it tastes bad. It's not that it like it's just I'm it's such a chore. And like, it's
Go to the intermittent fasting because then your window changes of how you can eat or the time you can eat, what you can eat. You can eat almost anything you want. Keep the exercise in there, and you'll lose not only weight, not only inches. The problem is with diet and exercise, that exercise that you're doing is
builds the
actually
muscle.
keeping the weight on you
Because it's building
and
muscle. I know,
muscle.
and, like,
Correct.
I do, like, consciously in my brain, I know
Right.
that, but there's that part of you that's like, if I could get myself to, like, 190, 190 is a good weight for my height at 5'9"-ish. I'm getting older, so I think I lost a half an inch. I don't know how the hell that happened. But if I could get myself at like 190, and I don't want to be Marvel buff. I don't want a six pack. I just want to
Mm.
What the hell's
lose
wrong
the
with you?
I want to lose
I
the
want to
keg.
be. I want to be that buff, but I also want to eat McDonald's.
Right. Exactly.
So I can
Exactly.
want it. I'm not gonna be Marvel buff, but I can want to.
Or you go to intermittent fasting and you can eat at McDonald's and still lose weight.
Yeah. Ultimately, burn more calories than you take in. Problem solved. Easy.
Yeah, well, I'm
No one in the
burning.
world will be overweight anymore. World
Right.
hunger's solved.
That's
Well,
right.
if you can believe the fitness app, the activity app on the Apple Watch, I think I burn about 1,000 calories every single day.
You
And when
burn
you're
more.
si-
You
and when
burn
you're
more than
sitting on
that
your
just by being alive. FYI.
No, I know that. I'm talking about like through the exercise I'm doing. But when
Yeah.
you're sitting on your butt on like I am a developer by trade. I spend most of my time sitting behind a computer, typing on a keyboard. When I can go from that to burning 1,000 calories a day, I'm doing something right, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
So, wow. So that was health and fitness in focus on lack of focus. Chris, what have you been doing lately?
Um, this and that, not too much. Um, I ran some D&D for you guys.
Which was fun.
I don't know if you can see it because I've got the NVIDIA broadcast blend on the back here.
I do see
I
that.
I couldn't be bothered setting up the SLR for this one, so but
Ooh.
the table has slightly less garbage on it, so
Ooh.
slightly less.
There's fewer boxes in the middle there.
Yeah, the theory being that it's Father's Day weekend. So my Father's Day gift is that on Friday, Jill is taking Evie away camping, and I get the house to myself. So
That
Very
is your
nice.
gift.
yeah, I'm gonna try and play something over the weekend. So we'll see.
Ooh. Anything in particular, or just
I've
anything at all?
I've got some X-Wing planned for tomorrow night, hopefully. And then I might play some shade. I keep calling it shade. I'm such a boomer. Some Underworlds, some Warhammer Underworlds, maybe.
Not
Maybe.
Shadesmar anymore.
No, it's 4 iterations past Shadespire.
Wow. Wow.
Shadespire, Nightvault, Beastgrave, Diachasm. But now there's an official Warhammer Underworld starter box.
And
Is that a role playing game?
It's a miniature skirmish game. You get a warband, fight another warband, objective based.
Yeah,
Is it similar to Kill Team, like the Kill Team style?
Yeah, it's basically Games Workshop's competitive game. Games Workshop's answer to X-Wing or Magic.
Gotcha.
It's in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, though, correct?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't the Dominion box set just come out this week?
It comes out on July 3rd. People are getting
3rd.
it. The early access stuff. Not heard anything about ours yet. We should be getting one, but if we get it, hopefully they'll let me know. But
what is Dominion?
It's
the new third edition Age of Sigmar.
Oh, so that's the new Age of Sigmar. Okay.
Yes. So that if you are watching this on YouTube, that's their Indominus box set for Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, which looked really good. The orcs in there look awesome.
I really like them. I really like the new look for those style of orcs. I have fond memories of the old ones, and it probably doesn't frustrate me so much because I play Goblin, so I still have Gloomspite Gits as a separate faction, and I still have my Goblin army from Warhammer 7th and 8th edition. So
the 7th edition, the 7th one was the Skaven one, right?
7th was dominated by Dark Elves and Demons of Chaos were the big factions for 7th edition.
No,
so
but I mean,
the start of Island of Blood. Sorry, High Elves versus Skaven.
Yeah, that's the only one that I ever bought in mass because it had 40 clan rats in it, and if you were going to be running, you had 40 with swords and board, or you had 20 with sword and board and 20 with spears. And when I was playing square basing block and movement tray movement of fantasy, that was the army that I chose because I just
rank and flank.
Rank and flank, the horde style of I'm going to put 100 clan rats in your way, and we're just going to loop you and go in on you. It was dirt cheap. It was dirt cheap.
200 points.
Yeah, you can get 20 clan rats on eBay for like $12. And like if you decided you were going, like I had 100 sword and board, I had 100 all in spears. They were it was amazing. And then you got like the rat ogre units were in there too. You got I forget where they had I think they had 2 cannons in that set as well.
It was a poison wind mortar and a warp fire thrower. You had to buy the cleaner from Labyrinth, the little mini drill thing, and the rattling gun was ones you had to pay money for.
Right. But my point being is like, so that was like Games Workshop since 5th edition 40K, their box set, quote unquote, starter set introduction ones have been super good.
Yep.
I still make the argument that 5th edition Assault on Blackreach is the best. The
Death Copters.
Death Copters. First of all, Death Copters. Yeah, it was Orcs and Space Marines because Space Marines are always going to be in the box set for 40K. Always. From the Space Marine side, you get a full 10-man tactical squad. You got a 5-man Terminator squad. You got a Dreadnought. and then you got the captain, I think, that came in there. And then from the orc side, you got a war boss, 40 boys, and then like 5 knobs, and then the Death Copters, which are still the best sculpt for Death Copters. Like people are still to this day begging for that sculpt to come back because the one that they have that you buy right now is the old metal scope that they put in Finecast.
It was was it like from Digger Knob and Gorkamorka times?
Yep, exactly. Like old second edition ish, kind of. My point being is those box sets were $50 a piece.
Yeah.
Which means if you were buying the orc half, if you were into orcs, which we were, because I can't tell you the number of Blackreach orcs that we have in this house. Like you could buy the orc half of the Blackreach set for $25. That included shipping on eBay all day long, twice on Sunday. And we loaded up on boys because back in those days, one of the best strategies for the orc army at the time was Green Tide. 180 boys, and we've got 180 boys here. But even from the Space Marine side, like those tactical squads, 9/10 of my Space Marine tactical Marines are Blackreach Marines. I just modded all the guns that came with them. So this one, because it came with a flamer, the guy only came with a flamer. So you just changed out. Now this one's got a melta gun. This one's got a plasma gun. So I've got all of my Marines. All the sergeant's cool, but I'm going to cut his arm off, and now that sergeant's got a power fist, and that one's got a power sword, and like I've got all of those stuff that came with it. It was like almost majority of my Astartes army is made from tactical Marines from that set.
Yeah. And then what else, Fredden? I finished listening to, because I don't have time to read. I'm still reading my Uriel Ventress novel, which I've been reading since it came out with the figure and everything. But I've managed to listen to Talon of Horus and Black Legion by Aram Dembski Bowden, which are both really good.
One of the best writers that they have. Him and Dan Abnett are my two favorites.
I started again on not the Indomitus one, the previous one, the Dark Crusade. So it goes Dark Crusade, Plague War, and then God King just came out or something.
Dark Crusade, is it out on audio?
Yeah.
Damn, I just spent my token.
Yeah.
I have to wait till next month now.
So I'm about halfway through that at the moment, and then I did a painting stream on Sunday.
Where would they find said painting stream?
That's Dice Hate Chris on Twitch. It's the VOD's taken down now because I didn't want to leave it up because it got muted at different points through me messing around trying to get the music right and everything. But that should be set up to work properly from now on. So I need to find what time slot I'm going to do painting streams in, but that'll be at least once a week. If we're still doing Inquisitor and like rando gaming, that's going to be happening. I want to try and fit in one other night a week. So I think if I get all of the VODs caught up for D&D, I might start streaming the RPG stuff. But I don't know, I might wait until this campaign's finished and try and see if I can plan a better overlay and everything like that for it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Should be good.
Yeah, it's good. So trying to do some variety streaming on Twitch has been good fun. I've got 54 followers, I think, now. So that's that big tick for being an affiliate. So just need to keep my average viewer count up and then stream more, and then I can try to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, so if you want to help Chris out, what you do is you tune into a stream whenever he's on, turn the volume down, and just put it on the iPad, let it run, just help him out so that he can help get up to that level.
Come on, friends, don't watch me, but just pretend. It's fine.
You should watch him. My only problem, of course, we're still in.
Oh no.
We're still doing COVID stuff, so it started, I think, on 3:00 on Sunday, which is the exact same time that my parents and I have our weekly Discord calls, so we can kind of hop on video and have everyone, grandma and grandpa, talk to the kids. So I'm not gonna lie, I was folding laundry and watching Chris paint at the same time. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's good. I enjoyed it actually.
was a good setup. You did a really good job.
It takes a little bit of time. It'll be muscle memory getting into painting in a way that shows it off better. But like I said, that's just going to be practice. I've got my project I'm going to do next. So I've finished the God Tier guys that should be up on Instagram right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. It's fine. It's on Instagram at the moment, and then I'm probably gonna do one of the Elder Scrolls warbands. I really like the Stormcloaks because I love the blue on them. So I'm probably gonna do those. And then my next project after that is going to be finishing Sean's Cyberpunk miniatures.
And so then after that,
it depends if your stuff's assembled or not. But
I was curious. I do want to know, like, if there's a possibility, because apparently they've the sisters now have a new Supreme Commander who's gigantic. And I love her. She is riding. Oh, I can't get her name right. I'm going to be really bad. It's
if you want some of her new Warsuit stuff, I'm sure I can try and grab them from the store for you at some point.
Yeah, I would think so. I think her more involved in having those. They're not patented engines. What are they? They are.
Yeah, they look like mini.
Look like mini dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Paragon Warsuits. That's what they are. Yeah, mini dreadnoughts. That's probably the better one. But like more involved looks awesome. She's in this big gigantic suit and she's got these little hands that she's controlling it. I'm thinking like the Matrix, like those big monsters, the big machines that they had where you had these
not like Dr. Robotnik.
No, not at all. Not at all like that. But that's how she controls this warsuit, and she looks badass. So I want to add that to my order if possible.
Yeah,
which means that I need to,
I might need you to give me the money to actually buy the models because, like, I don't know how to be able to do that, but I'll be able to sort it out.
That's fine. Because I want to add her, and I want to add a unit of those.
The actual suits.
The actual Paragon Warsuits to go with her. Because she needs bullet monkeys. I mean, she needs a retinue to go in and beat stuff up with that big ass sword of hers.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I think for me, that's going to be the surreal thing for me is watching you paint the sisters on your stream and then knowing that at some point in time, they're going to come here. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, that was good. But no, that's it. I've been working a little bit more hours at work as well. So trying to not look too haggard and tired at the moment. Doing my best. I shaved before we came on. So I can have an effort, you know.
I was in the office today, so I did do the
I may even be able to get a haircut as well, not have to do it myself. That would be amazing because I'm sure there's like a horrible rat tail down the back here. And
So years and years and years ago, my wife decided that paying for haircuts was stupid, and she just got herself the barber kit. And we went. I'm not gonna lie, we went through a couple of haircuts that may have not been so good, but she's gotten really good at it now. She cuts all the hair. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But like some of the worst decisions of my life were bad haircuts. I'm just throwing that out there.
I had when I got to Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, I think like 2 days in, I was just done because my hair was. I don't know if it's thinning or not now. I'm getting a bit older, but I
got a spot back here that's never. Yeah.
Like I went into a barber's there and just got a zero all over, and I looked a full-on private pile.
That's what I do. I just bought clippers at the beginning of COVID, and that's all I do now. Stand in my bathtub and just get it all off. And
I've got my beard trimmer because I don't go for the chad. I keep it relatively short. It's mainly just to disguise one of these chins.
Right. That's what right here. That's what this is for. You don't want to disguise that one right there.
I was gonna. It was originally like the Will Riker, and then I just took it further and further down, and there's more grey. I confession time. So I was never really bothered about having grey hair, but I actually have dyed the beard twice since.
Really?
Yeah. Just for men, beard dye. Not now, you can see it coming in, but yeah.
That's kind of my problem. Like the beard's almost like full gray now. Like if I did now, I'd probably have more gray in the beard because I do have like the salt and pepper temples. Like I,
All of mine is gray here, so
Yeah.
anything on my
God damn
chin.
it, we're getting old, guys. What the fuck?
I said, I think like I
Hey.
mind because I said to Jill after I'd done it, I was like, I don't actually feel as embarrassed about having done it as I thought I would before I did it. Does that make sense? Because I used to just have a patch of grey here, but now it's coming in all over. And I was like, I did it. So I might just dye my hair. It's fine. Just start getting just for men, man. Because who was it? Oh man, Paul Rudd. He's like 50 something now or whatever. I'm like, there's no way his hair's that color.
Right?
Paul Rudd's that old.
He's the same age as the guy out of Cocoon. That was a meme Ira posted, I think it was. On Facebook.
Yeah, but Wilford Brimley was like 45 when he was in. Oh, he's 52. So Wilford Brimley was 52.
Yeah.
So Rudd's about 6 months, little over 6 months older than me.
Yeah, Rudd was born in April of '69. He is 52 years old.
Yep.
Bullshit, that's his natural hair.
There we go. So, I mean, if it's good enough for Paul Rudd, man, it's good enough for me. Just saying.
If Ant-Man can do it, I can do it.
Right.
Well, I think this is so this is really down a rabbit hole. I'm at that point like where I don't feel like my face looks like I'm old, but the hair definitely adds to it. So you're right. Like if I cared, and I genuinely don't, but if I did, and I were to like, I would look like I were 30 again, my early 30s. I feel like I have the same face. Like I don't have wrinkles, I don't have stress marks, anything like that. So like, I think we all fall into that same category.
I just look weathered, Handsome.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm thinning, but I haven't turned yet up here very much. This is all natural color. It's all still dark.
Yeah, no, mine's like I said.
I don't have the bleed over yet. I just have it on my chin and in my beard. I'd love to have as much energy as your dog chasing his tail, though. That would be nice.
That means that someone left the basement door open again, even though I sent her back up and someone took her up. So yeah, so those of you get to see on YouTube, you get to see Peanut chasing her tail because that's what Peanut does. She's a mastiff. She's beautiful. 135-pound puppy.
Yeah, but she's not that big yet. She's not even a full bull mastiff.
No, not yet.
Not like my dog.
Yeah, but yours is sitting there quietly in the corner.
Your dog is doing exactly what I would love to be doing, is sleeping.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to make mine super quick. Since we pretty much everything that I do that involves gaming involves these guys, and they all talked about everything, so I don't feel like retreading old ground. The only other thing that I think that I have planned, while we were doing D&D, so at some point in time, you will see the show whenever Chris does the production and actually gets the video out. I was painting Necrons during our last session of D&D because I am going out into the real world and playing a game that involves dice. My two oldest have been vaccinated. We're waiting for that 14-day waiting period, but that is going to be up next week, which means I'm going to venture out into the real world. The COVID cases locally are down to single digits per day. 5-day average is like in the teens. So it's at that point where I'm getting to feel my safety level, my anxiety is starting to come down a little. Not completely gone away, because I know there are other strains in the UK. UK is going back into lockdowns. I know India's on fire whenever it comes to COVID cases. So I'm not by any stretch of the imagination relaxing in any way, shape, or form. But I feel like if I go in and I'm with a mask and I'm going to be playing Chad, and Chad's in a mask and we're in a fairly large space, I think I'm going to be okay. So I want to make sure that whenever I show up to play Chad, our 1,000-point game of 40K, my first actual game on the table of 9th edition 40K a year after it's been out, they're all painted. I can't have any excuses. I've had a year to get ready for this. So
your excuse is you're playing Necrons and you've got a tin of spray paint. Like, job done.
Chrome, Nuln Iowa wash, base done. Mine's a little bit more elaborate. I do like a blue metallic, then I do gold, and then I'm using Chris's method that he taught me with basically doing a white and doing the ultramarines, the contrast paint to do the effects on that. The Scorpec destroyers, I actually have to do some dry brushing to get the blades to look the way that I want them to. Because you start with black, and then you dry brush a dark gray, then a lighter gray, then some white, so you can get that really like rippling effect to look like a power weapon, and then you do the contrast paint over it. So it's not just that. I am putting some effort into it, and then I may have to get around to highlighting at some point in time to do the highlights and everything. But overall, yes, if you really wanted to, Necrons are the easiest ones to really paint. You could just quite literally go chrome paint, maybe paint a little bit of gold here and there, wash, base, and done. It can be that easy. Mine a little bit more elaborate than that. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all. Like legitimately, I'm really looking for. Like, you have no idea how excited I am about.
I think you'll find I do, because I'm getting to play something myself. I'm
Oh
excited.
god, I can't wait. Can't wait. It's
Yeah.
never going to live up to what I want it to be, but just the idea of just being able to walk into a game store again and be able to pick dice up, physically
I
pick dice up.
cannot wait. Like, the amount of rage I get when my dice just don't go my way is going to be insurmountable. Like, I'm just going to quit all. You will never hear another podcast after this one, because it'll have been built up, and then the dice will be shit, and then I'll just like, I'm done. Rage quit all gaming.
I waited all this time in COVID times. For me, like again, I think that competitive gene in me has slowly, it's not dead, it's gone into a slumber. I don't care if I win, lose, or draw the game. It's just putting models on and making pew pew noises and rolling dice. That's all I care
So
about.
I've played a decent amount. I say maybe like 10 games of Warhammer Underworlds against the bots, because obviously we all downloaded the game the other week because it was free.
True.
So I've played a few games of that, and like one game in particular, I remember I was running a warband where I was going to score all my points just by killing, just play really aggressive, push into their territory, get attacks, hold objectives in their territory, and my first 3 attacks, they rolled a crit on defense, which stops everything, a double crit on defense after I rolled a crit on an offense, so they trumped me again. Then it was a crit on defense again. So the first 3 attacks of my my effect game, I was like, yep, okay, yep, cool, whatever, yep, cool, yep. That's the equivalent of safe hands or sure hands elves not picking up the ball for 3 turns.
Yep. Fucking annoying. Like, there's no way. And then, of course, in your head, like, I'm doing this electronically. There's something like that's where. How many times have you?
I still won. It was fine. I just had to like completely ditch all of my objective cards that I planned on scoring. I'm fine. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do an Underworld's tangent because it's a really good game that I really enjoyed when Shadespire came out. The only thing that stopped me from playing it was the deck building aspect, because I'm not that good at deck building because I don't really have any interest in it. And I also had this weird thing where I wouldn't just look online and take a deck that people told me to either.
When you say deck building, like, it's basically a constructed deck. Like, it's
so the way it works is you have your warband who have set fighters. You can't change the models in your warband. If you play Steelheart's Champions, you have these 3 Stormcasts who all have their own abilities and their own stuff. But then you have, I might get the numbers wrong, but you have a 15-card power deck, which can be upgrades or so. Upgrades would be a permanence in Magic. Ploys would be an instance, that kind of thing. So you can have like, I missed an attack, I get to re-roll it.
But you choose those.
You build a deck, so you can build it from warband specific cards, and then there's a general pool of cards as well. So you build a 15-card deck, or something like 15 cards, and then you also build an objective deck, which is 12 cards maybe, and you draw 3. And that'll be how you're going to score your points, because each round it's a 3-round game. You play 3 turns. I activate someone, you activate someone, and we both get 4 activations. So in a game, you will only ever do 12 things. If you're playing a warband that has 7 fighters, in your turn you only get to activate 4. Because you only get 4 activations in your turn. So in the entire game, you do 12 things. And if I do my 12 things better than you do your 12 things, utilizing my deck and utilizing my objective deck, I win, you lose.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like you can have...
But there's got to be an advantage. So there's got to be an advantage for taking those warbands that are larger. Like if you lose a model, then you can just move down to using another model.
Yeah. So the way it works
is you build in the attrition.
If you charge, so when you activate, you can either activate a model, you can draw another power card, or you can exchange an objective card. If you've got 3 objectives that you don't think you're going to score, you might want to drop one of them and draw a new one in the hope that you'll be able to score it this turn. If you've got a power card, you
score points for every objective you score in your turn.
Sort of. I'll get to it, but okay. Yeah. I didn't want to do it because I knew this is what would happen, but it's fine. It's good.
Now I've got questions. Yeah. It leads to questions.
Yeah. So when you activate a model, you can move, put them on guard, or attack. If you move, you put a movement counter next to them and they can't move again. If you move and attack, you put a charge token next to them and you can't activate that model again at all.
Ever?
For that round.
Oh, for that round. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Then the next turn, if you just do an attack, you can attack again. You can attack with the same model 4 times if all you do is attack. That could be your entire round. Is this one model just is in the perfect position already, so it just keeps attacking. You can ramble one thing through. So if you move and then stop, don't attack this turn, but then attack next time, you could move it into position and attack. But if you do the move and attack, then you can't activate it again.
Gotcha.
So, and yeah, once stuff's dead, you can't bring it back on. It doesn't come back to life or anything like that. It's just taken out, and you score 1 point for each model you take out of action. So the benefit of playing like Skaven, you get 7 models. But each time you lose one, you give up a point.
But the trade-off is every time you begin to overwhelm them, because they're down to 4 models, you're at 6. They're down to 2 models, you're at 5.
Yeah, and from memory, the way the dice work is that there are the attack dice are 2 hammer symbols, 1 cross sword symbol, 1 single support, and 2 double support. So that means that if your attacks are hammers, you hit on 5s. If you've got somebody helping you, like in Blood Bowl, if you think of a support in Blood Bowl, you hit on 4s. Blocker. Because you're adding in, there's 1 of those symbols. If you've got 2 people helping you, you hit on 3s, basically down to 2s. So it's kind of like balanced that way, I think. I can't exactly remember. Makes sense. But if your attack is for cross swords, there's only 1 of those, so you normally need 6s to hit. And it kind of goes that way.
Okay. Starting to make sense.
Yeah, but it's good. I really enjoy the game. I really like it because of that. The thing I find really attractive about it is the boards. I bring my board, you bring your board, and then one of us places, and then I can place my board at any connecting point to yours, and I can rotate my board around.
Ew.
So you can play long ways, you can play offset, you could play a perfect. So you take the board, and each board has got different layouts of deployment hexes, because each board has got 7 hexes on it that you can deploy on, and they're laid out in different ways. So you can have a really aggressive one with them all up on one end. You can have a defensive one where they're behind some impassable terrain and stuff. So I really like that aspect, and I only have to do 12 things this game, and that. So the way the structure of turn goes is I have if I'm going first, I do mine, you do yours 4 times each. But after I've activated something, I get a power step where I can play a power card. Then you get to play a power card, and I get to play a power card. You get to play a power card until we both pass.
Gotcha.
If you pass and I don't pass, you get to play. You get to come back to you. You don't like lose your option to play it.
And these are the cards that are in your hand.
Yes.
And once you play a card, it's gone. You used it, correct? Okay,
but
so
there's like
it's a resource. Got it.
Yeah, there's heals. There's like control aspects of like moving models, or swapping places of models, or giving you bonuses to damage or negative damage. Like if I play it in my power step, it'll reduce. I can reduce the damage you're going to do to me, kind of thing, and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it is good. But anyway,
it was free during that time frame.
Yeah, so I've been playing that, and I got screwed on dice. And I remember when I was playing it, that I was raging about it. Not the angriest I've ever been. Not as angry as I was at myself at Worlds. It's fine. But I used to just rant about, you've got the random element of the dice, then you've got the random element of who gets to go first each round. You've got a random element of what cards you draw from your objective deck, and you've got a random element of your power deck. So it's too random, and I'm like, it's not.
That does feel a bit much.
I mean, that's because I'm overselling it. Because like the randomness of who goes first isn't really. That's just a normal game thing.
Yeah.
Randomness of dice is actually how you win games, is by stacking those dice in your favor. Sure, you'll get times where they roll 3 crits and it's whatever. And then
ice mitigation, it is an important skill to learn.
And then that's what I thought. Yeah, so the layout of the dice I said was completely wrong because I didn't mention crits, so they're on there as well. And then what else was there? The standard base game came with like hold objective 1, hold objective 2, hold objective 3, 4, and 5, because there's 5 objectives that you place on an empty hex. And then I'd be like, oh, I can claim objective 1, but I got card for claiming objective 4, and there's no way I'm going to get that. But because I'm shit at the game, I was like holding on to it, like I'll run all the way over there and claim that one instead. When the real thing is, you just take a turn and you just trade that one out. I'm never going to get that one. I don't care. It's gone. But like that's the Earth, like the big brain, the galaxy brain is just don't fucking put that scoring card in your deck, do you? Just you build your own objective deck. So why'd you put it in there? Right.
Well, are there objectives randomly placed?
So you place them face down, so you don't know what number you're placing, and then you turn them up the other way. Because the hexagonal piece of card, one side has the art with the number on it, and the other side is effectively a plain back. So you shuffle them all, and then I place one, you place one, I place one, you place one, I place one.
Well, then how would you ever know that you would never not to put objective into your deck if you don't know if objective 4 is way over there or if objective 4 isn't right in front of you?
Well, that's it. You don't. But if you don't like the fact that sometimes objective 4 just isn't going to be an easy one for you to score, you don't take the objective, score objective 4.
Gotcha.
But there's sometimes where you'll get that card right at the start and you can deploy next to objective 4 in your backfield.
Right.
So it's one that they can't.
I see where
if you're willing to gamble, it all works out and they can't stop you. You have to also accept the times when it's just not going to happen.
That would indicate to me that there are other objectives in the deck that aren't the physical ones that are on the board to scoring
Yeah, there are.
points.
There's stuff like the warband I've been playing is the one from the actual Warhammer Underworld starter box, Dupree's, the undead horse knight people, and it's all
Ooh,
about like charging forwards and like
hacky
basically,
slashy.
yeah. Lends itself to aggressive play, which is fun against a computer, and it's been pretty easy playing it. But like my objectives is, because they're ethereal ghosts, I'll take the objective where it's do a charge move where you move through a model or an impassable piece of terrain. So all I have to do is one of my models has to charge, and so I'll like charge through the model I'm going to attack, and then attack him from the back, because then I've moved through the model, and it's like succeed in an attack after a charge move. And then the other one could be if all of your models have either a move or a charge token. So in turn one, I'll charge everyone or move them, and
Even if
I'll
they don't have,
charge. Yeah,
even if
I'll
they don't have a
charge.
valid charge to go and attack.
Yeah, so like you move them and get the move counter, and then and some objectives you score as soon as you've done it. Others are scored in the end phase of each round. If you score immediately, you draw up back up to 3. So you're kind
I
of
see.
trying to
I see.
cycle through the deck as quick. Yeah, the way
Yep.
you win Underworlds is you cycle through your objective deck as quick as you can. Because if I do all of my objectives in the first 2 turns and then you kill me, the game continues. On my turn, I can't activate a model because all my models are dead. I can still draw a power card, and I can still do the exchanging objective cards, because there's objective cards for like my entire warband's dead. So I achieved my objective of killing my own warband.
Interesting.
But yeah, I like
That reminds
it.
you. That reminds me a little bit like how Malifaux. Like Malifaux had like some of the secret objective cards where like one of my objectives, like you could win the game. Like Malifaux is not a game that if I wipe all your models off, you lose, because that very well could have been my primary objective in the first place. Is I'm going to I have all my models dead.
Yeah, the reason I like this more than Malifaux is explicitly because of how finite it is. It's 12 actions each. So it's a very quick game. It's like X-Wing. You can play it in an hour. I think, from memory, it's been a while since I ran an Underworlds tournament, even before the pandemic. But the official like event rounds is like 75 or 90 minutes a round, but you play best of 3.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's good. I really like it. But
Good.
there you go.
All
That's
right, so
an hour's worth of filler. We're
I
doing
was going
well.
to say that was an hour's worth of flight deck. So let's get into some actual semi X-Wing related information here. Atomic Mass Games
Yeah, this is what we're doing first.
has a forum.
Okay, so I do want to open up with the rant we had pre-show.
Okay. This is good. You'll like this.
If you're going to go and watch a VOD, if you listen to a podcast, you'll just have to follow along and imagine. But on the VOD now, as you can see, I have my Google window open up. So what we're going to do is we're going to Google.
Not unless you're driving. If you're driving, don't do this.
We're going to Google Atomic Mass Games. And we're going to go to Atomic Mass Games. And we're going to look at all this fancy like Marvel art that comes up. It's good.
Seems like they're only promoting one particular game.
Scroll down to the bottom where I'd expect there to be like the full on like menu of where everything is. There's nothing there. So I'll scroll back up to the top and I'll click on, what did you say this is called? A burger? I don't know.
Yeah, so in programming, we call that the burger. That's that little 3 lines in the right that kind of expands out.
Yeah, so there's like Star Wars announcement. Not in there. I'll go back. What was it? Star Wars Q&A.
I think it's important to note when you click on that burger, the word forum isn't
Yeah.
there.
So the way you find this, and this is atrocious, and why I'm labouring the point, is you go to the homepage, you scroll halfway down the page, in between what it says, prepare for a crisis protocol. Marvel Crisis Protocol is a tabletop hobby miniatures game set in the Marvel universe. Players assemble, paint, and collect an ever-expanding line of highly detailed plastic miniatures representing iconic Marvel characters. Players choose characters from a collection to form their own Marvel-inspired dream team and then pit their chosen forces against each other on an interactive table where the very train itself can be thrown, crashed into, destroyed during a super-powered showdown. I mean, that sounds really cool. I don't know how I'm supposed to take from that if I want my X-Wing rules questions answered, that I click on the rules forum button underneath this, which doesn't have anything. So you click on that, and then we get to a forum.
Yeah.
And then we get Star Wars Legion and Star Wars X-Wing rules. So there we go, folks. That's the secret ways. If you don't just have the link memorized, which is forums.atomicmassgames.com /forum/43-Star Wars Star Wars X Wing Rules question /. If you don't have that memorized, it seems really simple to find.
Yeah. You would think that at some point in time, whenever Atomic Mass Games took over the X-Wing miniatures and they decided, hey, we're going to put a rules forum up, that somebody would have gone to the website, gone to the HTML code that added that, and just put a goddamn link to the forum section like every other company. It's almost as if
I mean, if I wanted to find like X-Wing rules, you go to products, you go to Star Wars.
Oh god, yeah,
go
you
to
should try that too.
And then you just scroll down. Look, rules down here. Look at all this. So seems easy. But yeah, we were chatting about it before the show started. And I think my big...
Wait. Your website's different. So when I go to the burger and I click rules, I go Crisis Rules, I get Crisis Protocol Rulebook, FAQ and errata, all Crisis Protocol, game modes, ultimate encounters. We all will be metal. And then we see rules and printings, AI tip cards, flow charts, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, no, I was talking about the FFG website when I said just scroll down to rules.
Oh, the FFG one. Yeah, no, I agree.
Where it's really easy.
My point is, when I go to the Atomic Mass Games and I click on the rules button, it doesn't go anywhere to Star Wars Legion. It doesn't go to X-Wing. It doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing on here that intimates to me that Star Wars is even a game that they have, let alone how to get to a forum, FAQ, rules downloads, none of that.
I mean, I don't want to assume incompetence. If you might, I would like to think there must be a reason.
Someone put the OP announcement. So if you do, they do have the Star Wars OP announcement, and you can see the brief article that they put up about organized play in 2021. Cool. So somebody had the competence level to put that up. Someone had the competence level to put the Star Wars Q&A up. Again, another short article that they put. So articles that Atomic Mass Games wrote are available on there. Someone hasn't gotten to the point of writing, oh, by the way, here's a forums link.
So what I'm hoping this is the case, because I'll give them a pass if that is. And I don't like to, just rant and rave and be overly negative. So I would hope that this website is approved by Disney, because Atomic Mass Games had the Marvel license, and that they can't change this website overly much at the moment. That would be my hope, that it's all tied to the licensing agreements. And that's why it is the way it is. Because the only other reason I can kind of give them is just gross incompetence, and I don't like that. But just put a link to Atomic Mass forum that just says Atomic Mass Games forum somewhere on the... You know what I mean?
Like how difficult is that? Like, I couldn't imagine that would have to go through LFL. I couldn't imagine that would have to go through Disney proper. Like, you would... I'm just putting a links to a rules forum for games, for rules that have already gone through LFL, that have already gone through Disney proper, that have already been approved. It's just a link on how to get them.
Yeah.
That's all it
But
is.
that was fairly annoying when I went to look at that because don't get me wrong, I had a direct link to this, and I
Because someone
clicked
put
it and I looked at it and I went through it. But then to get that direct link, I had to either be following Atomic Mass Games on Twitter, on Instagram, or on Facebook. That was the only way I got the direct link.
someone was
them.
kind enough to post it in our Discord too.
Yeah.
That's how I got to.
And
So
then
so when you look at the forums, what's missing?
Armada.
So you have Armada's missing out of the rules forum.
Yeah, we were gonna get to that.
But yeah, so what I wanted to go through is what's actually in here once we actually get to it for X-Wing. So there's corrections to a rules reference guide. So that means that the rules reference guide that is available through the FFG website is no longer up to date, but it hasn't been taken down or updated. So you still have to print that out and then errata it from this, which is relatively annoying.
I was going to say, the first thing they do is they point you to the FFG one to download it, and then, oh, by the way, here are the changes that you need to add.
Yeah.
They don't give you the eroded version of it.
And like I said, I would assume that it has to do, again, with the license and the procedural format of how these things happened, that they're just not ready. This is where like some of the people's arguments about how this must have been pre-planned and everything, and that people had noticed. It's like, I never thought so. I think when the news dropped, I think I was on the side of it was just Asmodee fucking people over, and I'm still on team Asmodee screwed it, FFG and AMG with this, but hey ho.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, maybe we should probably clarify because it does sound like we're dumping on Atomic Mass Games a bit, but they do need to go through a process because it is the Star Wars property. They've got to go through and get it. That's one of the main reasons why Second Edition went to the format that it did, is it allowed the game developers to make points changes via the app and via the points document that they put out, and not have to change the physical cards. Anything that is physically in print, they have to go to LFL first, Lucasfilm Limited, for those who don't know, and that needs to get approval. There's an approval process there. It's a time-consuming process, which is it's a better version of the game, to be honest with you. But that's one of the things that they're now able to do, is they can make those point changes and they don't have to go through that approval process because they're not changing anything in print. However, rules corrections, rules erratas, that's in print. It probably has to go through LFL. So I'm sure Atomic Mass, putting a damn link to the forums aside, that's not LFL.
Yeah.
Because it's their own forums. Because clearly they have, aside from that, the rules forum also includes Crisis Protocol, which is a Marvel property, so it is probably Disney. So maybe it is that. Maybe they do have to go that route. I don't know.
Yeah, so what I wanted to just touch on, I don't want to go through everything that's on here. It's a really good resource. I would advise asking questions here, like, rather than asking them on the Facebook page that I run, because whilst Dee and Chris, who are moderators on here, both frequent that and will happily answer, anything printed on here is considered an official ruling. And it looks like they're actually, you sign up, you ask a question, someone will answer it, and then the thread gets closed. So you just have a bunch of questions that have been asked by the public, and then
they get locked.
Yeah, but you've got Chris and Dee. So Chris is from the UK and oft confused because he's also Christopher K and he's from the UK and does real stuff. So understandably, people confuse us. It's not me. I've got nothing to do with this. But you've got California time zone and UK time zone. So you've got a really wide range of potential to get an answer in a relatively decent amount of time turnaround. If you look through it, there's a bunch of stuff been at, like multiple pages. The forum's only been up for a couple of days, I think. And then, in addition to that, they have frequently asked questions, which is just them banging out rulings for stuff that needs answers. And I think it's really good. I think it's a good resource. People like the actual content is really, really good. Some stuff's changed. There's obviously a difference of. Let me just take that away now. We don't need to see that. You can look at my beautiful face again if you're watching the VOD.
They officially defined transfer.
Yeah, that's right. It's stuff that isn't covered and wasn't getting covered has been done, which is really good. You can't say they've flip-flopped on some rulings because obviously AMG never made those rulings in the first place. But there's a couple of things which is like the big one that immediately struck me as being different to how we would have interpreted it in the past had we had direction from people due to things that we were taking part in before ships were released. Can a ship equipped with Emperor Palpatine spend a force charge to change Darth Vader's TIE Defender results while he's defending? Yes, a ship with Emperor Palpatine is spending a force charge, not Darth Vader. It's like, well, that's not how it was initially ruled and played. I don't care. I don't think that that's a bad ruling.
No, I don't think it is either.
It's just a change in philosophy, which means that like someone like myself who has been doing this for a while, I can't assume that the precedents that were set are now going to continue because it's a completely different team with completely different design ideals and philosophies. So it is definitely worth taking the time to sit down and read through it is the crux of what I'm getting at. I'll make sure there's links in the show notes to it. A direct link to the forum, you know?
Yeah, so you don't have to go play hunt and seek for it.
But yeah, that's it. I didn't want to go through point by point and try and read them all out because that just makes for a bit of a boring show. I know we've done that kind of stuff in the past, but it was more when I personally felt like I was in a position to try and offer something to you guys. But I think the best I can offer at the moment is this is a link to it. Go and read it for yourselves and get in touch and get used to using this as a resource. I won't be closing the Facebook one because I feel like having the community respond to easy questions kind of takes some of the weight off Chris and D having to kind of do it. So the Facebook group will still be there. I'll still do my best to answer stuff, but something else to consider is like this as an actual usable resource now.
Yeah, no, and again, I think they're doing the best they can under the circumstances.
Yeah.
I still think they're getting their feet under them. It's just put a link. Just put a link. Like how it's not that hard, but put a link.
Yeah.
It's 4 lines of code in HTML.
It's like the button. It's just where they've hidden that button, just like because it goes from that into new releases, and there's not even a come join our forums. There's nothing. It's just like Rules Forum, tiny button, click here. So, hey-ho.
In the industry, we say that is not intuitive.
It is
and not very user friendly.
It was not, but I thought it would make a fun experience to talk about. So maybe I'm just trying to poke holes because I'm a bit of a dick, but you know it's entertaining. Get on board. You know sometimes, guys, true feelings get masked for the sake of entertainment. Just saying. Maybe we all actually got along on Nova and we just argued because it was a good show.
All right, let's talk about maybe. Let's talk about fun stuff.
Oh, do we
there was a fun event that we have been following closely. The Pew Pew holiday event. The guys who do what I wish I could have done, which is book out a weekend, get an Airbnb, and ran a little tiny 5-person events. And we broke down the list last time, which ones we thought we not knowing how well they were doing because games were going on at the time that we were recording and we were not cheating in advance and we weren't looking to see results. But we have winners and losers and we know how well this did. How well did we predict this one?
I think we did a pretty good job. So I'll bring up the thing for viewers again. So again, if you're listening along, unlucky production value though. Look at that. Instead of looking at us, you get to see the standings from the players. So obviously, the entire run up to that tournament, we were hammering out deployments and turn zero stuff, and that was all for Michael. And we gave him some list suggestions after he'd told us what he likes to play, and he managed to go 3-1 and get second place, only losing to the eventual winner, who was Peter, who was running the list you liked, Ed, the Y-Wings and...
Wiring list.
Yeah.
Because I liked it for multiple reasons. The paint scheme, first of all, was, in case you haven't seen the pictures in Discord, was a Ninja Turtle theme. You had Splinter and you had 4 Y-Wings, and each Y-Wing was painted up under each individual Ninja Turtle. I thought that was awesome. That was great.
Yeah.
Plus, it brought Y-Wings back into the game.
Yep.
With ion cannons, no less.
So we had Peter was first with the Y. I can pull a list up, can I? So we'll just go here, lists. So Peter's Cowabunga Squadron was Constable Zuvio with Ketsu Ono, Proximity Mines, and Pattern Analyzer. And then 4 Kimura Goons with Proton Bombs and Iron Cannon Turrets. And like we said at the time, there's a lot of control, which kind of drives you into the bombs and it just messes you up. And then he can launch that proximity mine forwards when he drops it to drop it on you if you're an ace and that kind of thing. So
I love the idea of ironing you and then bombing you. It was awesome. So that one went 4-0. What about some of the other lists? So we want to talk about Michael's list. Michael went second, which was another list that I loved out of this, by the way.
Yeah, that was the B-Wing with tracked beam and stabilized S-foils and 4 standard X-Wings. So the Rebel Beef with a little bit of jank in the tractor beam. And yeah, he said he managed to just, lined up that tractor beam shot a couple of times to barrel roll people into range and shots for the X-Wings, and they've got 1 less agility. And just, like I said, people will land ships in front of you, and then you just kill them. Right.
It's a ton of red dice that you're throwing.
Yeah.
And especially if you get the benefit from the tractor beam, then you're lowering their agility, and then you're just throwing a bunch of red dice at them. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Then Nan's list went 2-2 for the mid-table obscurity. And that was the...
on this podcast, that's where we live, is in mid-table obscurity, just so we're on the same page.
I'm sure if you asked Shelton, they would love to have Alex Kirbishley back. Is that right? Have I just crossed my references there? Alan Kirbishley? Yeah, Alan Kirbishley. So he was a manager, and Shelton complained for ages that we were always just short. Then they fired him, or he moved on, and then he got relegated. Sometimes mid-table obscurity is worth its weight in gold, or worth its weight in Premiership money.
At least he didn't have a heart attack on the field.
No, that's not the first time it's happened, but yeah.
All right, so admittedly, though, I don't know if anyone saw this. I don't know if anyone keeps up with sports at all, but this was really horrific. I'm trying to imagine the TV producers doing this. Something awful happened in a game where a player had a cardiac arrest on the field, and they basically just kept filming. Applause to the medical team that were there. The player is alive. They had to defib him on the field. To my understanding, he is in good standing currently at the moment. But I'm trying to imagine being the TV producer on that at some point in time going, maybe we should cut away from this, because if this guy doesn't make it, we're literally filming someone's death on the field. At some point in time, cut away from the field, show the commentators, show something.
Yeah, but
That,
you go back to Joe Theismann's leg injury way back when,
and I've
and
heard
how
this
many
argument.
times and how many times they
Like,
showed the replay
I
over and over and over and
and
over,
I
and it's just
agree
like,
with that statement right up until the point where Joe Theismann was still breathing on the field, and I
no,
don't
no, no,
dis.
no. I'm not talking about. That's not my comparison. My comparison is, I think morbidity and death, is those things that human nature that look at how many people watch MMA or wrestling or
Yep, that
boxing and
morbid
all
curiosity. I agree with
the
you.
pugilism, and I think that people have a fascination with those things, and especially with potential death or death, that it's probably worthwhile in their side to play it out, see what happens.
I
I'm
think you
not.
got to give a large benefit of the doubt. I don't know that they were digging for morbidity clicks or whatever. I think uh, it was it was focused on the crowd. They followed the directives of what's supposed to happen. It was a a broadcasting service from France, I believe, was a producer was based there. It was
Oh,
all
I didn't
yeah.
realize that. I did not know.
There's a lot to it once you actually look into it. But yeah,
Okay,
I
that I
mean,
had not heard. I stand corrected on that.
and on my side of it, when I was in the Air Force, my room looked out over the AstroTurf, and we used to play 1 or 2 times a week. And we went out to play on the Thursday night, and it was all locked up because literally the booking before ours, someone had died playing. It's like the exact same thing, and
Yeah,
yeah, it happens. It's always a tragedy, and it's just, but I don't know.
it's
I don't think it's worth. I don't think there's blame to be assigned to TV people. They didn't. We weren't focusing on the
oh,
CPR.
no,
It
no, no,
was
no.
all
That's
yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but just
But
my
anyway,
point is that after effect.
yeah.
It's how
I
many
don't know what
people.
that has got to do with 5 Trade Federation drones and a Septis Racketeer, though. You know,
It's lack of focus. It wouldn't be our show if we didn't go off topic.
I know. I think the
Yeah,
dog wants some pizza.
All right, yeah. For those who are in audio only, my wife decided to order late night pizza, so I'm trying to be as polite as possible and not eat on mic. But of course, pizza came, and then now there's a dog sitting next to me who's waiting for crust.
Yeah. So Nan finished in third place out of the 5 in mid-table. His Septis Racketeer, with General Grievous in the Thread Tracers, and then the 5 drones with grappling struts and energy shell charges. Looks like he did well against the not as good jousting lists and lost against the better jousting lists.
Which
I
I think
was
fell kind of in predictions. Like that's kind of what we thought would happen too.
yeah, I think you can roll a dice on that against the Kelvonga squad, and sometimes you'll get the wins. I think the bombs just shut it down a little bit too hard.
I think also you have the issue of, yeah, the bombs are bad, but if you lose a drone in alpha in any way, shape, or form against any of the jousting lists, you're already reducing yourself so much.
Yeah, no, I think that's
So
one of the things we spoke about in the Discord after the fact. We had a little bit of a back and forth talking about it. And so let me pull that up so I can make sure I'm not misquoting people. But we're talking about like the positioning of a fire spray and how I would have approached it to try and get it, because Peter asked us how I would have like scored the event. And I said I think the Scepters had the potential to be a winner, but you've really got to work hard to get the most out of that.
right,
And I think trading drones early instead of trading half points for fire spray and keeping your guns on the table. But even that, you're relying on the alpha, so you could win an event with that list. And I think I said that this last time. but you're very much in dice dependent. You need to have that run of dice on the early shots when it matters, because you don't have the weight of fire to let your luck balance out.
Right.
Yeah,
If you
it's a typical glass
yeah,
cannon list. Like
yeah,
once you've fired off all of those, you've got nothing else behind
like
it.
you can reload them, but they can't shoot in the same turn they reload.
Right.
But like, if you have good luck at the start and then bad luck at the end, you probably still win. If you have bad luck at the start, you can never win.
Right.
Like, you don't have time for it to balance out.
And if you lose the fire spray early, you're probably SOL at that point.
Yeah. Then what was next? We had James with a resistance list, a 4-ship resistance. I still stand by. I really like that list. It looks really good fun to fly.
Yeah, that was the heroic list. I liked it.
The burden of execution on that is what I said would be a fall off. That whilst it can win, you have to fly better. Like,
yeah,
if you,
I think well, you have basically 4 different dials that you're playing with too, so you don't have true synergy like the other lists above did.
like, Carver needs to do specific maneuvers to be good.
Yeah.
Greer with heroic and advanced optics is good, but he's never going to punch above his weight. Temin is strong, but he's your obvious target. And then Kazuno is, again, reliant upon specific things, like the number of damage cards, I think it is, for him, to make sure he's... Basically, if you meet predefined conditions with Kaz, he's an X-Wing, for less points than X-Wing. But you could just have taken X-Wings.
For the same points.
Yeah. Like, you wouldn't get... I mean, I think you can actually take 4 black... Like, yeah, there you go. 4 black squadrons would have probably been better than this list in this environment.
Yep.
I don't know.
But I don't know if they knew
it wouldn't be as much fun to fly.
Right.
Well, and I don't know that they knew what list they were taking either to the event.
No. And then the horrible predictions we made about David's list came true.
So, for the record, David, if you are listening to this, from my heart and soul, I loved the theme of the list. I loved everything about it. The downside is the position.
You're playing in this event.
Well, and I stand by my position that I took on last time. Like, unfortunately for this list, large base turreted ships are not doing well in second edition. That's just a flat that's not an opinion, that is a fact. That's the reason why you don't see them very often. So from a theme perspective, I love everything about this. It looks cool to fly the 2-ship large base turreted ship lists. Unfortunately, they just don't do very well. And that is just the shame of it. Like, I feel like something needs to be fixed to help those ships out.
If you look at his MOV, it played out pretty much the way that we predicted.
Unfortunately, yeah. I was sad to see how right we were on that.
Yeah, like I say, it was not a good field to fly it into. Oh, yeah. Yeah, from the sounds of it, though, they all had a really good time. The big learning things that I thought we could actually dwell on and talk about, and one of the things I wanted to actually roll this into so that we have content within this main topic that might be beneficial to people, is basically the event came down to, I think, what was the post? Because it wasn't, the last game wasn't actually Michael against Peter, I don't think. Peter had finished all of his games, and
isn't there a log? Hold on, there are rounds. You can block by round.
Yeah, that's right. I don't need to look it up in the thing. I can just...
Correct.
Yeah, so I think if Nans would have won, he would have beat Peter, and he would have beat Michael because of his where has it gone? The actual MLV. Yeah, because Nand had the highest MLV at the event, even though he came third. So if in the final game, if Nans beats Peter, there's 3 people who are 3-1, and Nans wins. So going into the last game, Michael knew he couldn't win. So that means that the results of the last game was irrelevant. Michael's tournament, and we're focusing on Michael here because he's the guy we followed through from the I'm bad at X-Wing, can you help me with deployment, through to giving him ideas for this list. And so we're kind of following the story through. The event came down to Michael, to his one loss, which was obviously against Peter. In that game, I asked Peter a couple of questions because he was the guy who was online at the time. And just trying to make sure I get the right parts of the conversation. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I asked Michael if he missed Leia, was one of my big concerns, because obviously his original list was a Leia list, and the list I suggested changes one of the X-Wings into the attack shuttle with Leia. So you keep that ability to make red moves white every 3 turns. And then basically he got a bad engagement because Peter blocked off the channel that he wanted with the prox mine. So
that's a good play. Yeah.
But my point would be that the key to designing a list, and I think we spoke about it, but it's 4 shows ago now. But recognizing win conditions. So Michael's list is obviously a B-Wing and 4 X-Wings. So we immediately went to a term Rebel Beef. The win conditions of Rebel Beef is that I am willing to trade my health for your health because I punch harder than you and I should have more health than you. But it's a very general term, and he probably doesn't have more health than the 4 Y-Wings and quad jumper kind of thing. But he still, theoretically, in a head-on joust, should output more damage. So if you line both of those lists up and do Bob's old jousting numbers, I would put my money on the X-Wings and B-Wing over Y-Wings and quad jumper. I think that's a pretty non-controversial statement.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's interesting because I'm looking at the round by rounds, and they clearly had timed these.
Yeah,
because not all of them went to full games, like 200-point games.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that not all of them, like there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 200-point scores that came through here. So it means that pretty much every game, a majority of the games
went to time. Yeah.
Went to time.
That's just 2nd edition X-Wing though now.
Yeah.
Games of 2nd edition go to time. So the big, and Michael recognizes this himself, that in hindsight, if someone drops a proximity mine in front of you, you fly over that proximity mine. You don't change your plan for your engagement.
Right.
Because I win by my health is a resource that I am willing to give you to kill you.
Yeah.
So one of the ship, at worst, one of his ships takes 3 damage. But if you're getting that, you get to choose which ship that is. Because I don't know if there'd been pot shots traded back and forth, so one of the ships might not had shields or whatever. You know what I mean? There's potential for stuff like that to be the case.
Well, and that was one of the other things he built into the list, is that all of them are at the same initiative, so that he could have picked and choose which one of the ships is the one that triggered that.
Yeah. And then, so Mike, we've already spoken about this. You know, I'm not trying to have a go now, so please don't take it personally while we're focusing in on these kind of choices. But that's where we're going to be kind of zeroing in on. And it's making sure that you know that your win condition is X, so you have to keep that in mind as the game's progressing. So certainly, if you're in the end game, you've only got 2 ships left. One of them's got 3 health, and there's a proximity mine there. I'm not saying, well, I'm playing Rebel Beef. I need to fly through that to get my shots off. But turn 2 of the game, no shots fired. You have to be willing to eat that damage, because you'd expect that you're coming in from an angle, so you're probably denying some shots back in some form, or going to be only taking ion shots, which can only do a max of 1 damage. And it's weird, that mindset you can get into, where I've got to be cognizant of the bombs here, and 100%, you can't just fly straight into all of those ions. Let him put all of those proton bombs behind them and just annihilate all of your ships into the protons.
Well, if you want to expand that line of thinking out too, so obviously we're talking a very specific case in this very specific game, but you can expand that line of thinking into obstacles in your ways too. Like Chad will often joke that he doesn't hit an obstacle he didn't intend to. There are plenty of occasions where flying through the rock is the right call.
Yeah.
Because your opponent's not expecting you to do it, your opponent's expecting you to try to avoid it, and you can get better positioning by doing something your opponent doesn't expect. And if you're willing to run that risk of rolling the dice and potentially taking damage for it, it's advantageous for you to put yourself in a better position to do that.
Like, there is... This is a horrible, stupid statement that isn't true. But
everyone make sure
the spirit of this statement is what I mean, in that there's just as much chance as the ship only takes 1 damage as it takes 3.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's
if it was you rolling for my bomb, he's going to roll blanks. So
happens all the time for me.
Just imagine it that way, Think of it as you doing a 2 dice attack to win the game. Oh, that never rolls hits, It's always blanks.
Always.
Just channel that energy into a dice when you roll them, and you only take 1 damage.
Well, and I think a lot of people get hemmed in when it comes to anything like that, with positioning is one thing, but action and action economy, we used to speak about it in 1.0 greatly, to ad nauseum, I think, where a lot of people would rather not roll over a rock so that they get their action, or not roll over a rock and be out of position, which Ed, you've done a lot when we've done our stuff on whatchamacallit, when we do you and Chris play the game on Vassal, where you're more worried about the rock and not understanding that the end of it is being able to shoot, because it's a game of destruction, and a lot of people just don't realize that rolling dice is the key to the game, and red dice is the key to the game, not green dice. So it's the same thing with bombs. Yeah, you're not going to line up right in front of them. Spread out if you have. Do whatever you have to do that makes your play style so that he has to adjust to you to try to get his ships. If he wants to drop 5 bombs to kill 1 ship, I'm all for it. I think anybody would be at that point. Let him expend ordnance, and then you attack him, after the fact. However you do it, it's just like with the fire spray, putting the fire spray out in front of, and Chris, you brought this up, putting the fire spray out in front of the vultures, where let the fire spray take the hits. It can actually absorb damage.
Yeah.
Take the alpha, let that be, you are getting lucky if you're up against the rebel list, or either of those 2 lists, the X-wing list or the Y-wing list, where you do have to get lucky and survive some, but you have 2 defense dice, and potentially can get away with it. And
I mean, let's have a look. It's of a Storm X-wing advanced calculator. Durability is what we wanted, so
you're pulling out the old dice calculator.
Yeah, 3 attack dice, and then it's 6 hull and 4 shields for fire spray.
Yep.
We'll give him a benefit of the doubt and say he didn't have to spend his focus token. It doesn't matter. There's no focus thing there. That's fine. So running into 3 dice focus shots. So on average, it should take 6.5, 7-ish shots to kill you. He only has 5 if you run into the X-Wings and the B-Wing.
Right.
So, you shouldn't die, which is all that needs to happen.
Right.
Yep.
Because you're still going to shoot at him next turn because you got the rear arc. You don't have to worry about turn away.
Yeah.
You will be out for 2 turns, but that's okay because your Vulture, all the other ships are now doing their damage.
So, where are we? So, there's a less than 1% chance you die to the 4th shot. There's a less than 5% chance you die to a 4th shot. There's a less than 20% chance that you die to the 5th shot, and then he doesn't have any more.
Yep.
So
then it's a game of attrition after that.
Yeah, if you sit in front of all of them, deny none of them any shots, and they all have the mods, you know what I mean? There's a good chance that you can position in such a way that you're only taking 4, and then you're looking at a less than 5% chance to die.
Right.
And admittedly, as Ed will tell you, a 5% chance is rolling a 1 on a d20,
Yep.
So that fire spray will still die. How many times in that encounter, Ed? 4 times?
4 times.
So Ed kills that. Ed loses that fire spray 4 times in that encounter. But
can happen. Does happen.
But if you look at the MOV, that one, 1115 MOV.
Yeah, that's a big number considering you look at it. He's a good almost 200 points in front of everyone else.
So when you look at that, I mean, he lost 2 games, so that tells me that somewhere in there with that high of an MOV, he's probably playing to time in most of those games. I'm guessing because I haven't.
That's a good question. So I was looking at that. Where is it? The rounds. So his first one was a 20-0 loss. Unfortunately, it was against the 2 large ship ones. So kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Second one, I don't know. His first 2 rounds, he went 200-0.
So I just want to remind you that there is General Grievous crew, which I didn't account for in that Gates of a Storm. General Grievous is a single charge. If there are 2 or more hits or crit results, you may spend your charge to cancel one of the hits or crits after the neutralize the result step. So this is before you're dealt damage. So if there's a hit and a crit left over, you can just spend Grievous and get rid of a crit. So that theoretically, if you add that in, that lowers that percentage down even more.
Yep. So
when I look at the go ahead. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
Saying
the same thing.
The main reason why he got ahead. So Nan's his first 2 games, he 200-0'd his 2 opponents, which is why he had such a big MOV jump in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone else played those opponents. It was a round robin, so that's the thing that you have to consider is that this is a round robin. I like it as a format.
Yeah, especially for something small like this. Absolutely.
Yeah, because everyone plays everyone. The only thing I would have done different, if I'm being honest, guys, is I would have done a final table. I would have played 1 extra game because had Nans beat Peter, there would have been 3 people at 3-1. Right. So I would use MLB to decide the final table, but I would have still done a final.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. But that's just because I'm a purist, I like that final.
Well, the best part about all of this is you had 5 guys get together and play X-Wing.
Oh, yeah.
That is the best
part.
Absolutely.
More than anything else, you had 5 people, all vaccinated, got together, probably drank some drank some form of
Dark
some form.
liquid that may have
Yeah.
alcohol in it.
Yep.
Uh, so the other thing to take away as well is I did ask him about how he felt about his obstacles, his deployments, and he said that generally he felt much better. The hardest test was against the Separatists and all their struts, but he managed to place first, and he set 2 of his rocks down in a position that was favourable for him, and then just stayed away from them. He took on board what we said when you were flying a TIE swarm, and we spoke about the gas clouds, and you
Yep.
just put them really early so you can intentionally just fly over them. And then the only other thing I mentioned was that generally, if I'm playing against someone with struts specifically, I will pull 2 of the rocks into my corners. I will 2 and 2 my own corners with the rocks.
Yeah, and I'm more beginning to adopt that policy. Because I see exactly because then you fly past them.
Yeah, like
And-
if they want to 4 forwards, or 5 straight to land on your rocks, like whatever, man. The fight's not happening here. The last thing you want to do is let them have time to set up their fortress. Roger. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%.
And then Nand posted a couple of days later, just saying how much he enjoyed it and added some more pictures. And from the pictures he
I
did
miss-
post, it doesn't look like he set up many Roger fortresses. Looks like he was pretty aggressive with the swarm, which is the way I think it should be played. Having these struts is really good because it lets you ignore the rocks. If you happen to fly over one and land on it, you just
Right.
Don't get me wrong, like the struts are a cool gimmick.
You have to consider them at all times. So.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. They're a cool gimmick. I don't know. Well, I've never been 100%. I always thought it was a cool idea. I've never been 100% sold on it though.
So I did it in a local event just because I could. I ran the spend a calculate to add an evade result. I think it is whatever droid that is. I had the vulture who can pass a calculate token at the start of combat, and then the rest of them just sat on rocks. But I would literally the first turn I would fly at my rocks and then park up and just be like, okay. And I wouldn't necessarily sit on them forever, but I get to fortress because it's not fortressing. It's not cheating by the rules in the game, you know? And just, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm still super jealous. This looks like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, I applaud you guys for doing this. This is exactly something that I would want to do 100%, like without question.
There's time yet for games, Zenta. We'll be fine.
We got to set a date. That's all it's got to be. At this
All I
juncture.
need is for them to open the border. Once the border's
Well,
open, we can
that's
actually
true
start
too.
planning. I don't want to plan anything until then.
Yeah.
I'm also
Stupid
considering doing that drive down to Disneyland.
Yeah,
'cause
after the
I
fact.
didn't do Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't add that. So, not that anyone's going to particularly care. 2 years ago, whenever I was at Galaxy's Edge, I did I built one of the lightsabers there because you do as you do. And over time, I don't know if anyone knows about these lightsabers or what they're like. They're fantastic. They're actually really they're absurdly expensive, but they're still really good. But they each come with their own individual kyber crystals, and you can buy additional ones. They're just RFID tags that are inside there that tell it, hey, you're going to be a purple one, or you're going to be a yellow, you're going to be white or a green. So I had every single kyber crystal except the red one. Never did that. So one of the guys, my coworkers, had just went down to Disney, and he came back and he gave me the red one, which completed my collection for about 30 seconds until he told me that there is a dark saber crystal.
Oh yeah.
And the only way to get the dark saber crystal is you have to buy the red kyber crystals, and 1 in 100 will have a black kyber crystal and not the red.
So you'd have to buy 100 of them?
I
Or
don't think you're guaranteed.
you're not guaranteed, right? Or you do something stupid and look on eBay and find out, oh, they're running for about $200 each, and I'm like, am I really, really considering spending $200 for a kyber crystal? No, I'm not. Because when I looked online to see what it actually does. It doesn't turn the blade black because I was curious to what it would do because it's just RGB that goes through there, and I'm like, well, how the hell do I do a dark saber on this saber? It just turns the blade orange, and now I'm less interested. But there's still that completest asshole in me that's like, but I'm missing a damn kyber crystal from the set.
Yep.
It's still pretty badass though. I do have all of them.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'd get all of them, but I'd get a couple crystals and stuff. But
well, when I bought it, so when originally 2 years ago when the Galaxy's Edge first opened up, when what was the hard ones to come by?
I can't, but I so wanted to go right away when all the staff still could.
Yep, it was fun. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. But so the hard ones to find, so like the red, blue, and green are the easy ones to find. They have those all the time. But the ones that are in short supply are always the purple one, the yellow, and the white. Those are the hard ones to find. So they just happened to have them there when I was there. So when I built my saber, I built it with the purple because Mace Windu is one of my favorite characters. And they had the yellow and the white, and I bought those. Over time, I bought the red, I bought the blue one, and I bought the green one. I've just never gotten around to buying the red one. And the guy that I work with happened to know that, bought one for me as a gift from Disney, which was awesome.
That's cool.
So I have a near complete set of kyber crystals for my Galaxy's Edge lightsaber.
Yeah.
And those are combat rated sabers, by the way, in case you didn't know.
No, what I want to do is I want to go and I want to get Evie a Shoto saber, and I'll get one that I want, and then it won't be too big for her, and we'll be able to play. But I don't know, I just want to go. But yeah, I think the priority for me is Game Center, and then Galaxy's Edge. Not necessarily in the same trip, but yeah.
I'm already trying to figure out like which if we go, what games we're gonna play. We kind of have to play X-Wing, I think. I think that's kind of a given.
The stupid we also still enjoy X-Wing. It's not the same pursuit or level of commitment.
I agree.
So
like I said, I want to pack 1,000 points of 40K, and I think we should do a little like 2-on-2, or maybe every man for himself kind of 40K event there. I think that'd be a ton of fun.
I don't know. I don't even think. I suppose I've got Nurgle Demons, don't I? I can always run Nurgle Demons.
Very good.
But yeah.
You don't have any of your Dark Angel stuff left?
I sold them all to Jim Kitchen, my friend, and Latour's friend, Greg's friend.
I could bring an army. I've got a few.
I've got enough models that I could. Yeah, it's fine.
See where we're going.
I mean, it's not an issue. Like if it happened, we'll sort it out. Maybe I'll bring a sister's army down and play with that.
I was just thinking that maybe that's how I pick it up. I can, instead of having to pay for shipping, I'll just put him in the car on the way home.
Yeah. But we'll do something. I definitely want to play X-Wing and stuff, and
yeah, I think
just play a board game. Hell, we'll play the new Unfathomable, the Battlestar Galactica reskin, the Hidden Roll.
They lost a license and they just reskinned it to the game.
They just never renewed it, I think, in that way. It's not like the Games Workshop scenario where they the license expired and they just didn't renew it because
and you're really not going to renew a license on a show that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
they may bring it back. They may bring it back with the new TV show potentially.
Reskinning the game is cheaper. I'm just surprised it took them this long. It was nice to see something new being announced by FFG because it saddens me.
Is it still in the whatchamacallit world?
Arkham Files.
Yeah, the Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, so the IP for it is called the Arkham Files now because they own the copyright to Arkham Horror and all of that stuff. Whereas in obviously Lovecraft in general is in common use.
Yeah.
Open domain. I
Yeah.
can't remember what the technical term is for it at the moment.
Right.
Oh, that is it's
Public
it'll come
domain.
public domain. That's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
you say this game was called?
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
Fathomable. Is that better? Is that better
Yeah,
enunciation?
it's like
Unfathomable.
is that the one
Ooh.
where you're like on a submarine or a ship or
You're on
something?
an old steamer going across the Atlantic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on definitely not the Titanic.
Definitely
Right.
not the Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were doing like a puzzle reveal for the last few weeks on it and
Yeah.
stuff. And it was interesting, but
Take
you know,
about
it's
the one guy who probably didn't get fired yet at FFG, who like designed the
yeah,
game, did all of the art, put that marketing campaign together. Because that was a
yeah,
really good marketing campaign. He did well there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
I think I think FFG as a studio is kind of a one-trick pony right now. Literally, it's that Lovecraft theme,
Yeah.
and
hey, they
that's
still
it.
have Twilight Imperium, my friend.
Okay, they have one and a half.
They've
You
got
know,
the Twilight Imperium universe and they've got a Tyrannoff universe.
yeah, because they're
Yeah.
putting out another Descent. But I mean, what are they doing that's new? You know, like new world stuff. You know, new. It's just like they're reskinning or they're literally living in that Lovecraft universe with new Descent coming out. It's just new Descent. It's 3D
Right.
Descent is what I'll call it. You know,
It
and
looks pretty good, to be honest. I
oh, it
do
does.
like the
But
look of it.
I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars again to buy a game that I have.
So the good thing, whether this is good or not, is to your interpretation. But it isn't Descent Journeys into Dark, so it isn't Descent Third Edition. It is a different game.
I understand,
That
totally
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
But you're giving me this. It's kind of like
Oh no, I know exactly where you're coming from, Sean. I understand. But for me, who doesn't own first or second edition Descent,
right, right.
like it's a
It-
better jumping in point. Not that I
oh
will,
yeah, by
because
far. I
there's
mean,
far too much stuff.
well, with the world opening up, maybe you can get to play, games on the shelf again. It's,
Maybe.
It'd be nice.
but that's the thing though about it is just give me something different. Give me Fortress USA. I mean, give me. I don't know. It's just so hard to understand that company anymore because they had good games like the non-just HP Lovecraft and Twilight Imperium. They had other good games that they were coming out, but of course they've lost IPs to those games, and it's like their living card games are basically about done,
It's
aren't they?
It's Marvel Champions and Arkham are the only two games that are
Yeah,
not complete games now.
yeah,
And
which
that
is just insane to me. Where you have
the interesting thing for me anyway, again here, is that they've completely switched the model. They're not living card games in the same sense anymore. They're changing. So Arkham, you guys probably know I'm quite big into the Arkham Horror card game as well. Anyway,
yeah,
I really
yeah,
enjoy playing it. It's one of the games that I miss. We did a video for the Sentry Box a couple of years ago, and I ranked it above X-Wing in that if I could only play one game for a year, I would have carried on playing Arkham, not X-Wing,
right.
because the social side of Arkham meant more to me than the competitive. Because X-Wing socially is good, but it's still a competitive game.
Well, the
Yeah.
social is an offshoot to competitive play.
Yeah.
It's not in that competitive play.
Whereas in Arkham, being cooperative is
Right.
all about you're just hanging out with friends playing a really good game. But the way it used to work would there be a big box expansion which sets the scene for a new story arc, and then they'd do 6 packs, one a month, to finish telling the story. Now we're breaking it up into 2 boxes. One will be the campaign box, so that gives you the entire story. and then it'll be an investigator box, which will give you investigator and investigator cards to build your deck with that fits the theme of that, but isn't necessary to play it. So if you just want to have your core set and your core set investigators, you just go out and buy this one box, which will, admittedly, it'll probably cost more than the big box expansions used to, but then you don't have to buy the packs after that. Because I don't know if I'm in the minority, but what I do personally, my buying habit for it is I'll buy all of the packs on release, but I do not open them. I won't open any of the cards until I've got the full cycle. And then I add the full cycle's worth of cards into my deck building options.
Yeah.
Because like the way it works is like one pack might have 3 or 4 seeker cards in it, like purple ones just to make it easier. Like a bunch of purple cards, but only one blue card. And the next pack will have a bunch of green cards, only one purple. So you don't get the balanced deck building until you've got the full cycle anyway. So doing it this way just feels a lot better. It taxes the production and the distribution a lot less, because you're not having to have this constant wave of releases. And my guess would be that they actually got all of the packs pretty close together and then just shipped them out locally 1 month at a time. You know, it's easier to do it this way. It makes more sense. I think the living card game model that Netrunner introduced was revolutionary at the time, but I think it's outdated for the world we live in now. The instant gratification world that we live in now, this is a much better model.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, wasn't the other model designed for competitive? You know, basically that.
I think
Grow,
it was
grow
some
more product.
Yeah,
put more product in the market, people will buy it so that they can add it to their competitive gaming experience.
I think it was to try and give that same feel as Magic, where you're getting new cards every week, or when you go to drafts, or when you go, because you're getting packed, because you weren't getting fixed cards, so the only way you can replicate that feeling is giving you one good card this month. If you buy a pack next month, you get another good card.
Right.
Buy a pack a month after, you get the counter. Like the counter to the good card in the first pack only comes in the fourth pack.
Right.
So that's,
I mean, I get that. I
do
do understand that. It was just I think the competitive model to the collector, you know, the collective card games, and I don't know.
But,
I'm just disappointed. Fantasy Flight has just completely changed. You know,
I've
from
been
what
gutted.
it was.
I don't think they have changed. I think I literally think they've been torn apart. I think the soul has been ripped out of the company. It makes me feel sad to talk and think about it, but that is the nature of modern business. And whilst I was optimistic about the merger, because it was sold as a partnership, and whilst Christian Peterson was there, it appeared to be functioning as a partnership. But whether he left because the writing was already on the wall, or whether once he left, this is what became of it, I don't know. I can't say. I wouldn't want to speculate. But it saddens me from the friends that we've had there, and but in spite of all of that, I will have no ill will, and I will cling on to good memories, because
absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Like, there was jokes going around that Unfathomable makes FFG a complete company, and like, this will be the you know, just the tongue-in-cheek things, like, so like, Lord of the Rings is now a complete game. Game of Thrones is now a complete game. Imperial Assault, like, FFG is a complete company. Like, those jokes going around, and if that were true, they can't come and take away 2015 world. So you can't. Like, I'm not going to get Men in Black flashlighted and those memories taken away. And that's one of the things I find that a large portion of gamers in general do. They focus too heavily on that negative side. When like Games Workshop releases a new edition, or your codex changes, or an
Or you
FAQ
quit,
comes
I'm never
out.
playing this game again.
Yeah, but even like when they emergency errated the Upsilon, so you couldn't do the 3 Upsilon list that was not even winning events, but just had that potential to be a very negative play experience.
It would have though. If it
Yeah.
they would, it would have.
Yeah, but like when they took that away, it's like, well, I've just bought 3 Upsilons. Like, did you enjoy those wins? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I
Ha-
tell you the number of Games Workshop models that I have that no longer exist at Codices or Legends now, or
Yeah.
what Legacy or whatever the
Like-
hell they call them?
like for me, if that individual piece that what I bought to exploit a meta or whatever, I will have spent more in my life literally pissing and shitting it down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
That like going out on a night out, and when I was in the Air Force, and buying bottles of Molly and bottles of Bollinger in the club because it was payday weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
I've literally shat and pissed the money down the toilet. So having I don't regret. I don't regret those things because I've got the memories. Why can't people have that same thing? You know what I mean?
Mine is just melancholy for the good company that it was being.
Oh no, I agree, and I feel the same as well. I feel like the tone of the show's shifted somewhat, and like I don't apologize for it. I think but I think when you do focus on those good things, I think that's the way you bring that tone back. That
right. Oh, absolutely.
If FFG wasn't what it was, we wouldn't be doing what we are now. We wouldn't know each other.
Agreed.
I agree. No, it's
FFG gave us our Inquisitor Martyr Knights.
Yeah,
so it doesn't. Even if FFG is a complete company, we still have that.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Gave me 2
and the best
closest
part
and dearest friends.
And the best part is we can go to the new game center.
Yeah.
We can.
And still have those same, and some of our friends still live around that area. When we go up there, we can say, hey, this person, and this person, hey, we're going to be in town. We want to come join us.
How great would that be if 20 people showed up to that?
I would
even if one showed up, it'd be awesome.
No, that's true. That is true.
So I have a confession, Sean. I was going through before we were sitting down. Ed jumped on early, and I was trying to do other things. The stuff I was doing was going through my emails, trying to sort stuff I need to keep. And one jumped into my inbox. I was like, "This is junk," and I deleted it. And then it registered that it was an email from a Radisson about my loyalty points. So I had to go into my trash bin and undelete it. So it's like, if I've got loyalty points, I want to upgrade my room when we have the Games Enter trip.
Right, exactly.
So I literally was thinking about that pre-show today, like getting some hot tub time in the Radisson.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to make the 5.5 hour drive and get there and check in and find out which room you guys are in, and
it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think I said as soon as that border's open, I can book my second job on the 28th of June because I'm relatively certain I only got my first one in May. I can't remember exact dates. I'll have to look it up. So I've got my sheet somewhere. But once that's done.
The question for me becomes is, do we make it a drive? Because for Chad and I, it's 13 hours there, 13 hours back.
It's 18 hours for me, I think. I could do it I know I could physically do it in a day, but then I've still got to add a day onto a trip to basically sweep off that jet lag effectively.
Right. So, or the question for me is, do I just spend, I can hop on Spirit for $230?
Yeah. I mean, the ultimate
part of more in gas getting there and getting back.
Yeah, the thing for me is it all comes down to what we're playing, because if I've got to take hand luggage and all of that, if you want to play 40k and have your sister's army and everything like that, I probably need to drive. I've not done this for a while, but is it Cochrane to
So Chris,
Rhodes?
so if you came solo, Chris, you could
Yeah.
fly to Omaha, and then we could drive. So you could get a semi-cheap flight to Omaha. Depending upon when we do
MSP is the best one to fly into because
No,
it is
I
one of the
know, but
hubs.
I'm just
Yeah.
what I'm
because it's
saying
right
is,
there.
but you could fly to Omaha. We could drive up together,
Yeah.
and then then you fly out of Minneapolis to head back home.
I'm thinking flying up, Ubering my way to the Radisson there, and then we're in walking distance from everything.
So annoying. $430 to Omaha.
That's monopoly money. That's that's Canadian money. What is that, like $4 in US? I'm teasing. I'm so teasing, Chris.
Oh, it's fine. YYC to MSP. I still remember all of the codes. It's been so long. There you go. It's a 2-hour, 41-minute
Flight.
No, it's not. It's not. It's longer than that. It's a lie. No, non-stop Delta, $477 into MSP.
How long is the flight?
2 hours, 41 minutes.
2 hours 13 for us. So yeah. We'd
The
fly.
drive for me is
It says
that's in kilometers because why wouldn't it be Canada?
mhm.
1,962 kilometers, and it's a 19-hour, 18-minute drive.
Yeah. It is for us, it is an 895-mile drive.
Yeah.
There are so many things that can go wrong on 1,700 miles in a weekend that I'm not sure that it's. Don't get me wrong. Like, so if we're taking X-wing, I can pack X-wing. You can get a little fishing tackle box. I can pack
Yeah.
X-wing in that. If we're going to be playing 40K and I'm doing 1,000-point army, I can do 1,000-point army in something similar, and I can put both of those in a suitcase that I carry onto a carry-on bag.
Yeah,
I,
generally the
I,
way I do it is my suitcase is the models, and then my
backpack is
hand
your clothes.
luggage. Yeah, and then you've got a laptop bag, which has like other games in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And my iPad will be
you're
in
allowed
there.
carry on, laptop bag, and one personal item. I think technically, if you read really deeply into it, there's multiple ways and means of cheating.
Yeah, there are ways of getting around it. Well, so our family has become very proficient in packing by backpack. Like I'm usually everything that if I get onto a plane, everything I need's in a backpack.
Yeah.
So if I get two, that means that carry-on bag, that luggage bag, that's going to be all models and maybe my toothbrush, maybe.
Right. But the good thing is that I'll drive up, so we'll have a vehicle to get around if we want to go other places,
Right.
and then you guys don't have to worry about renting or anything like that.
It would cost me about $185 in gas. Then I'd need a room on the way there and on the way back because 20 hours driving probably isn't realistic.
Do you see what I'm saying?
So,
like ultimately, in the end, when it comes down to cost, wear and tear on your body getting there, your body getting back, a 2-hour flight.
Yeah, I need to put the miles on my car because I've owned the car for 2 years. It'll be 2 years next month, and I don't even have 10,000 miles on my car.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just
travel
for
restrictions. I
call me
require
old.
a COVID-19 test before departure and a 10-day quarantine required on arrival. See?
Yeah, currently.
Yeah.
That's what.
So does that quarantine mean you can do it at your house, or does it mean you have to do it in a special hotel?
I'm not sure for them.
To my understanding, he's in his hotel room and he's not allowed to leave once he's checked in. So that would defeat the purpose for what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Nope.
Yeah. Once it's open, I want to get it done. Oh. What are you gonna do?
I'm just saying, for me, for $300, you're going to spend that in food and tolls,
Yeah.
food, tolls, and
Oh,
gas.
that's what. Yeah,
Just
you
hitting
guys have got
that.
to do the what was it? Illinois had all those crappy
Mhm.
toll roads.
Chad and I clearly have the longest distance to go to and from.
Well,
13.
that's a lie, but clearly, clearly, I do.
Okay.
19 hours.
Okay.
I mean,
My point.
I don't know how your numbers work in
All
America's,
right. Yeah, maybe
but
you're right. All right. I stand corrected. You're right. I did a trip like this once by car. This is whenever my wife and I took the kids to Quebec, and it was awful driving 13 hours straight. It
yeah.
was awful. And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
So when I drove to Sean to do the Sparta Games opening stuff, and then Roseville, and then Toronto, and then drove back. I've done most of the way across North America, and then back. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun
I'm sorry.
times.
We were talking about earlier how getting gray and all that. Like I'm too old for that shit.
I agree.
20,
Well,
25-year-old me, 13 hours. Let's do it. No
I
problem.
don't mind. So, in honesty, I can do an 8 hour, 9 hour drive. Just I throw on an audio book, chill out,
Sure.
cruise control. It doesn't
Sure.
bother. That's fine, but I would have to stop and sleep over somewhere.
Yep.
And I find basically about 4 hours before I'm going to stop, you go on one of the apps and I find a hotel with a swimming pool, and then I book a room in there, and
Yep.
then yeah.
That is how we do it.
Generally,
So
I stop at the border to Saskatchewan. I think what's the town just before? Yeah, I can't. Coldfields or something like that. Coldfields or somewhere in Saskatchewan, and you go
how
through
many
North Bottle.
days
That's
do
the one. Yeah.
just so I can prep the wife, how many days are we thinking?
I would come for longer, but I do like. So I think what we said is you guys would probably want to take at least a Friday off, so you could get there at a reasonable time on Friday. Have Friday evening. I, personally, I do like Wednesday to Tuesday because I would abuse the fact that I wouldn't have Evie for as much time as I can.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, I totally
Right,
get that.
right.
But yeah, it all depends on what. And obviously, my schedule with work and getting time off is a lot easier than you guys because I just don't go. I just don't turn up. And nothing happens.
My work's pretty. My work is fairly forgiving as far as time off is
Yeah,
scheduled. But
but
have this would be nice. It'd be a nice just for me trip. It'd be not taking
yeah,
the kids. Not that I don't love
yeah,
my children, because I do. Not taking the pets. It's I'm gonna go and do geeky game stuff for a 3-day weekend, like we're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I come home on a Monday, kind
So
of
my
thing.
goal in planning all of this is to give people 2 to 3 months notice if possible.
Yeah, that's
But
sufficient.
Well,
because
I've been looking at September,
yeah,
just looking at September, just at like flights for you, Chris, and
yeah,
the rates and stuff is, it's
it doesn't really. But I mean,
yeah,
it,
3-day weekend,
yeah,
that type of thing.
All right.
Because
So what?
I figure we do 2 rooms, you
yeah,
know, you Ed and Chad share a room, and then Chris and I share a room, or however you want to
yeah,
do it. And then because I'd stay longer, I can stay
yeah,
longer. I could come in on Thursday, leave on I'm driving, and so it's at
yeah,
my discretion. And if I schedule it over the weekend, I have Friday off. I can easily do it because I
yeah.
could take Thursday off of work and the Monday following, and then drive back on the Monday following
Oh snap!
early.
So if I schedule it out now, like if I just picked the first full weekend in September,
September, right?
right? That's $373 round trip.
Right.
Round trip. That's $175 there and 175. You're damn right. I'm flying my happy ass there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For me, it's a 5.5 hour drive, probably six and a half because I'll stop few times because I got to get out and move and stuff. And
Yep. No, I
but
totally understand.
but if I drove left Thursday morning, if Chris got in the third Wednesday or Thursday, it's
Yeah.
I'd use my AAA rates to get the room, which is cheaper than regular rates, and um, not much. It's
Yeah.
$18 cheaper, but still,
It adds up.
yeah, it's
Oh,
18 bucks as a meal.
I could go cheap if I decided to take a connecting flight. I could go cheaper at $266 round trip.
Yeah.
That's $133.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how much time?
It's 4 hours. All right, so maybe this is probably just me thing. I don't care about that connecting flight because I'm gonna do the exact same stuff that Chris is talking about. I'll toss on an audiobook. I'll download a movie or something on
Oh yeah,
Netflix.
no, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
So
Like,
it's simply
but
it's the 13 hours behind the wheel, and I have to stay focused on driving for 13 hours.
the
That
difference for me
Right.
between like a 3 or 4 hour flight and a 6 or 7 hour flight time, it doesn't really get relevant if you can get a good arrival time.
yeah.
That's the
Would,
key.
yeah,
That's the key piece. Getting that early morning arrival time,
yeah,
is the best when you're trying to do that because you get the whole day then,
Yeah. So
because you could take the shuttle to the Radisson, get to the Radisson, check in, then you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want.
yeah,
yeah,
because we would according to this flight, I'd check in I would be in Minneapolis at 8:07 a.m.
yeah,
Now, does that mean I've got to get up at 5 a.m. to get down to Pittsburgh International Airport to get on a plane for 6:50? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a Thursday. We can
yeah,
chill, have dinner. Like I could take a freaking nap
yeah.
when I get there. Like it'll be yeah,
That's the good thing about taking longer to do it is you're not trying to squeeze as much into, because inevitably, even if you get the perfect departure time, perfect arrival time, you're still stressing the night before. You're still adjusting your routine. You're still going through that traveling. You're still breathing that shitty aeroplane oxygen, recycling. Still doing all of that stuff. You're still not going to be at peak for the day you arrive, and you're not going to be at peak for the day you leave. So you're trying to squeeze that quality time into less space. So.
So if we
Anyway,
did it the second weekend in September, so that'd be the 10th through whatever in September that weekend. So I could take the Thursday, I'd have Friday off. I could take the following Monday. Now I have to be back in Omaha by 6 whatever for my class, but beyond that, it would be I could come Wednesday. We could do a Wednesday through Sunday.
yeah,
I'd take Monday off, so I would take Wednesday, Thursday, and the following Monday to drive back on the Sunday or early Monday morning, and then we could have four or 5 days there just to chill.
all
yeah,
right. So if just flights I'm looking at, if I do Wednesday, September 8th to Monday, September 13th, coming home Monday, and then like I'll go back to work on Tuesday, $205.
Round
and you
trip.
know what the good thing about that is? We'll be recording on the night.
Yep, we could do
We could
We,
the
we could do the show live.
yeah, in person.
yeah,
We could do the
yeah,
show live in person.
yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be I can bring my mic. I
yeah,
can pack that in if that helps you.
yeah. We'll have to.
Oh,
Like I
I
said, I'll
can't.
keep an eye on the what you call it, the actual travel restrictions and everything.
Yeah, the
Because
quarantine and
that's
everything.
literally the only thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right
we
now,
could we could we could push it out farther if you guys are flying. Because I have an all-wheel drive vehicle, so I'm not going to worry about
Oh,
driving
it's
if it's
not.
snowing.
I'm happy to aim for that kind of timescale, but it's I wouldn't book anything until I knew because it's just not
No,
worth
no,
it.
no, no. It's once you give us, then we can figure
Yeah.
it out a few months because you're going to want to buy the ticket a few months in advance
Oh yeah.
anyway.
yep. You're gonna want
Yeah.
to book your room a few months in
Yep,
advance.
yep.
Ah, I'm getting
Because
excited.
Yeah.
yeah, because I'll book a room. Ed, you guys book a room, and then Chris can stay with me, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Well, yeah, well, I want to be able to announce it once I know, and then we can see if people want to come down, and we'll make it a mini con. Like,
Yeah.
I will run an X-wing tournament at a game center if I need to.
Yeah,
It's like
it'd
old
be-
time.
Yeah.
I hate to do this. I didn't realize what time it was. I gotta
No,
go to bed.
I knew what time it was, but we were chatting, so
We were.
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So I'll do my normal bits, then I suppose. So thank you again to all of the Patreons, and all of your support really means a lot. It helps with all of the costs of doing all of this, the hosting and everything. As I said to you guys when we started, I was a little bit of a shitter this week and didn't actually edit the In Focus episode yet, but that should happen this weekend where I have a bunch of time with my Father's Day gift from not being a dad for a weekend, which feels really shit even more and more I think about it, but I don't care. For Father's Day, I would like to not be a father anymore.
Yeah. It's time to yourself.
So,
It's not the same thing.
fun times. And then I'll get that edited, but there has been decent stuff, hopefully, going on the page. I've been trying to get the episodes out early, so you at least get early access. You get a special flair on the Discord. You get to be read and have your separate little zone to chat in and everything. And obviously, you don't even need to be a patron to join a Discord, though. You just jump in and play games with us. And the Game of Neptune's Pride finished today. Alan won.
Oh, it was officially over today?
Finally, eventually eked it out. I told him that he should have beat me on Tuesday. I managed to drag it out to today. I was hoping it would still be running as we were talking so that I could abuse him a little bit more on air. But hey ho, what are you going to do?
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, and then, so that's the kind of stuff we do on Discord. You get to come in and line yourself up to be abused by me, everyone's favourite. That is and the direct link to it is in the show notes of whatever format you're watching this in, but you can find it as Dice Hate Productions on Discord. You can listen to us on Lack of Focus podcast. The Dice Hate website is going through some changes at the moment because I've been they charged me $350 US a year for the package I had for a website. So I've been trying to see what happens if I just don't pay it. So if I don't give them anything, do you take my website away? Like, because this isn't the hosting fees or anything like that. That was just for like the way it looks and the way everything comes together, and all these they offer me all these extra services that I honestly have no idea what they are or what they do. So I figured I'm just going to experiment. So it's a good chance the Dice It website just disappears for like 2 days while I'm pulling my pants, and then I have to throw even more money at them to get it back. I don't know. But we'll see. So, but currently, I checked earlier today, and I believe the look had changed slightly to a different template or something. But there is a Dice It website. You can find us on Facebook at Lack of Focus Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Dice It Chris if you just want to follow me, or on Twitch. Ed's got YouTube, just all the stuff. All of it.
Just keep watching.
Yeah.
Listening. Clicking.
If you want to do what Michael did and get like 5 shows dedicated to you, just send us a nice polite email talking about stuff.
I was just gonna say, like, you got 5 shows out of this, Michael. I'm just throwing that out there. 5 shows. You got your emails worth out of this one.
Lack of Focus Podcast at gmail.com. 5 shows dedicated to you. And episode 79, though.
I know. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the math. We might end up doing episode 100 in person in Minnesota. I started doing the math where we're sitting there like it's possible.
No, it'll be episode 88.
Close.
Ish. Something like that. It'll be in the 80s. It'll be all right. Because we only do every 2 weeks, remember?
We could do episode whatever it is and then episode 100 at the same time.
We'll just get a few in the bag. We'll just record a load.
Yeah, there you go.
Or we could no, we can't pre-record that. And everyone's going to want to know what's going on. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. We do appreciate everyone tuning in. Sean, always good to talk to you, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Hopefully everybody has a good week.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you too. And Chris, always good talking to you.
Always good to be here.
All right, that's going to do it. And as always, guys, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all of the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.